go. I think I gotta get the dog camera going. Alright, there we go. Maybe in a minute it might pop up there. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Oh, there you go. Hey, they're huddled up. They always do that. Those two are like inseparable. They fight and then they sleep together. It's just it's crazy. Alright, how's it going? Sandy, Lisa, Allie Cake, Carolyn Wilson, Jason Bourne, the Jason Bourne. Yep. Anybody else out there? I've only got 67 people here again. You know, it's just... it's wild. Hey, how's it going? Anyways, I was going to start off the show with this Leticia Stauch here. I mean, what a joke, you know. It's a Colorado court. Hey, cool. Yeah. 37 months. A Colorado Court of Appeals has reversed the murder conviction against Leticia Stauch, who was formerly found guilty. What attorneys are out there fighting? Ooh, let's get her. They all know that she did this. She killed a kid. And there's these attorneys are looking for a tiny little loophole. It's just the stupid. It's just sick, man. I don't know what the hell's going on here. On Thursday, they're doing their job, Gray. Really? You know, I mean, isn't there a certain point where you just kind of... I don't know. On Thursday, a 3-judge panel handed back its opinion on Stauch's appeal. In the summary, the judges have reversed the conviction and remanded the case for a new trial, with 2 judges concurring, 1 judge partially concurring, and dissenting. The case came into question as a juror who had been identified as MB, who had a son-in-law who worked as a deputy district attorney in the same office as District Attorney Michael Allen, who prosecuted the case. Hey, thank you, Cheryl Bullock. During the trial, the court denied the defense's challenge to remove juror MB, and the division of the Court of Appeals ruled that this was structural error. Just one juror, you know, come on. Nothing would have changed. It was such a clear and obvious case, you know. Judge Bernard, who concurred with the fellow judges on the sum of the case, also provided the only dissenting opinion that would have affirmed Stauch's conviction. Judge Bernard brought in the larger issue surrounding the question of peremptory challenges. A peremptory challenge is a legal right in jury selection, allowing attorneys to exclude several potential jurors without stating a reason. Judge Bernard states that he recognized that Stauch used 7 of her 16 peremptory challenges available to remove other jurors, but deliberately choosing not to use any of them to remove juror MB. They probably wanted her to be on there so they could challenge it later. Bernard argued that this was an implied waiver of her right to raise the issue on appeal, and by allowing for a defendant to bank a biased juror for appeal purposes creates a broader issue in the Colorado justice system. I guess I don't really want to go over the document. 54 pages. I don't know. I just, you know, apparently like one of the jurors may have known one of the prosecutors or something, and it's just, what a joke. She's going to be found guilty again. Here's what I hope the way it works. is that you don't start all over again. Like, it seems like what you should do is just retry the case with exactly all the same rulings and all the same, every single thing that's already happened, and then you go to trial again. But I bet it doesn't work that way. I bet it's, well, you got to start all over again. You know, now the defense is going to know all the different things that they were using and try to remove this and this and this and this and this and this and this. This is so stupid. It's like, I don't even blame the prosecutors or anything. I think this is just one of the problems we have with our justice system. That is so absolutely idiotic. There is zero doubt of any kind, way, shape, or form that Leticia Stauch killed her stepkid, Gannon Stauch. There's no doubt about it at all. And so somebody found, ooh, let's go look for a little something. Yay, we're so proud. What are you proud about, you idiot? I mean, Jesus, what a joke. You know, I mean, I guess, you know, you go, well, they're supposed to do that, Gray. They have to represent their client vigorously and do all the little tricks and gimmicks and everything they can do. That's why I hate defense attorneys who have YouTube channels. This is the kind of shit that they do. This is what their arguments are. Yay, yeah, here's what I would do. Now I want to... Why do you want to listen to that sick shit? Okay? It's garbage. Man, I can't stand it. Anyways, there you have it. There's that part. Why do you think there's only 94 people watching here? I don't get it. I'm confused. Am I even live, or am I, what's going on? Am I here? Can you guys hear me? It's just so, it's bizarre. 94 people. I have 190,000 subscribers. How does it accidentally that there's 94 people here? God, it's so fucking frustrating. Because of the what? Who cares about the Hawaii trial? Well, I don't even know what that trial you're talking about. Jesus, a Hawaii trial. I mean, what Hawaii trial? What are you referring to? I have, you know. Yeah, but why? Okay, so because she credited my site, I dropped? Is that what you're saying? Is that what the deal is? Carolina? So Ashleight Banfield credited my site, and then I dropped down to only having 100 viewers. I don't know. It sounds boring as hell. Oh, jeez. Who cares? Man. So the entire true crime community is watching the Hawaii trial. Yay! Right. Anyways, for those who are here, if you could please help support the channel tonight. This, you know, I can't help the fact that there, you know, people aren't here, but I could definitely need the support from the people watching the channel to keep on trucking. We have one person so far. That was Cheryl Bullock. All right. Anyways, I don't really. This is just too much. That case is. That's disgusting. That the justice system has failed. Gannon, like that, letting a barbarian. I mean, she's not out. She's not free. She'll be found guilty the next time. But just having to have the family go through it again and look at those damn pictures is sick. No, it didn't. It didn't, Caroline. I said, why aren't there more people here? And you said, well, because Ashleight Banfield credited your site. I think that should be the reverse of that. That doesn't make any sense. I asked why there weren't very many people here. I can't imagine it being because people are watching a trial in Hawaii. It's just, that doesn't make any sense. Anyways, here's the... Brian Entin apparently interviewed some insider. I haven't listened to it or anything. So we're just going to go ahead and listen to it. Let me get over to where the case is over here. Well, I was clear, so you just didn't hear me right or something. I don't know what you're saying. Okay, well, thanks. What I said was, why is there only 104 people here? That's what I asked. I don't really get it. It's almost like it's not being put out there on social media. It's bizarre, bizarro.
Hey guys, thanks so much.
Let's see.
Since Nancy Guthrie just disappeared, vanished out of her home right outside Tucson here, still doesn't make any sense. How does an 84-year-old woman just vanish?
But thank you.
The reason that I am still digging into this every day. And in this
if
episode,
you're trying to make me feel better, I appreciate it. It just didn't make sense at the time to me.
Something really interesting and unusual. I have an insider, a source close to the investigation, who is now speaking out about several different things, including issues that happened early on with the investigation, specifically when the first set of investigators showed up at Nancy Guthrie's house. I'm going to get into it in this episode of Brian Entin Investigates. All right, hey guys, so yeah, I'm still here in Arizona investigating the Nancy Guthrie case. And you guys know, I mean, I've spent so much time here. I've gotten to know a lot of people in the community. I've gotten to know a lot of people in law enforcement. I've made a lot of new friends. And there's a lot of people who want to speak out, who are frustrated with the investigation, including the person you are about to hear from. This is a source close to the investigation who wanted to speak, is frustrated with the sheriff, and frustrated with some things that happened early on in the investigation. Well, that just means you don't watch it enough for it to recommend me. Obviously, I have to conceal this person's identity because they would definitely get in trouble for speaking openly with me. Yeah, so the thing is, if you don't watch somebody's channel for a while, they don't recommend them anymore. So if you're somebody that, you actually watch my channel, you'd probably have it show up in that screen. Again, this is just a clip. I'm going to have the full interview, which is... I mean, you guys can't wait to get up in the morning. Ooh, Brian Entin's again, or Ashley, or the other people. When I put out a video, it just absolutely crashes and burns, and they're better videos than these guys put out, okay? It's unreal. I just don't really get it. It's very frustrating for me. It makes you just want to quit doing YouTube. It's just absolutely sick, all right? Really eye-opening coming up tonight, and whenever, depending on when you're watching this, it's Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern on News Nation. But I wanted to play you this part because this source explains what really was shocking about the early parts of this investigation when investigators first arrived at Nancy Guthrie's house that weekend. The first team that arrived, and how inexperienced this person says that they were. Listen to this.
From what you know, were the initial people who responded inexperienced?
The people that were...
I think this is kind of funny, actually. I mean, when I went to the Art Institute, I don't know, in like 2000 and like 20-something years ago, I made a video where we did something just like this. We used silhouettes, and it was just hilarious. Same voice modulation. Yeah, I just don't recognize you, Caroline. Yeah. You're not a channel member,
They were on the scene. Were not 10-year homicide detectives. They didn't have a lot of experience in homicide at that point, to include the supervisor, who... from my understanding, never investigated homicide before being installed as the supervisor for the homicide unit.
So wait, so the supervisor who first responded to Nancy Guthrie's house had never investigated a homicide?
Correct.
How is that possible?
Hey, Kristen, my videos have better analysis than he does. He goes out and reports and talks to people and stuff like that. I make better videos, and I figured, like in the Idaho 4 case, I absolutely nailed that thing, put it all together. None of these guys did that. They just talk to so-and-so, and oh, it's interesting, and everybody gets excited about it. So, Kristen, your brain just isn't working correctly, okay? Your brain doesn't work.
Listen, you have decisions made by people that will install friends and people that can do stuff.
If you actually want to try to figure out what happens in a case, this is where you go. If you want to go somewhere with the latest new, the new buzz and blah, 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 blah. I think Brian Entin's great. You know, he's the best reporter on the case right here. He's reporting on things. What I do is I put it all together and make it make sense. Okay?
For them, opposed to people that are there on their merit and can do the job correctly.
I never said he was
So
bad.
obviously two interesting things that the person tells me there. First of all, that the supervisor had no homicide experience, had never worked a homicide before, which
Kind of dumb.
and other issues that happened early on. And then also the fact that this source says that the sheriff put people in leadership roles based more on loyalty and less on merit and less on people with experience. I reached out to Sheriff Nanos to get a comment on all of this. As of the recording of this video,
Kristen
I haven't
Cure is
heard
one of the
back,
trolls that
asked
left a long
specifically about
time
some
ago.
of these things that were brought up. Again, I'm going to have the
I remember
full
that.
interview coming up later on News Nation. But it's eye-opening. I mean, you know, as you peel back the layers to what was going on behind the scenes with the Nancy Guthrie investigation. I want to talk more about all of this with my friend and
Yeah.
retired
See what I'm
FBI
saying? She's one of the
agent,
trolls.
Steve Moore.
Steve, thank you for joining me as always. I really
I think what it does is that when you don't make it into, if you're not in the algorithm, it's hard to get your videos or people to show up to your channel because YouTube doesn't put it out there. That's where the problem is. It has nothing to do with, like when we do our shows and we're going through stuff, the people that are here, they go, wow, I finally found a place that has logic and reason, and they put it together, you know, and nobody else does that, okay? And a lot of the stuff they get from me and then put on their shows, and that's how now they've got this developed idea. All right, and I'm not just saying that; it's a reality. Okay.
really appreciate it. I know you've been busy, so that's why you're in your car. So thanks for hopping on with me. I wanted to get your reaction to this interview that we did
Thanks,
with this
Cake.
source that's very close to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. One thing the person told us is that the people who responded to Nancy's house initially were the detectives were inexperienced. Specifically, the homicide supervisor had never worked a homicide before. Does that surprise you?
I would wonder how that person was put in charge of homicide if they've never worked a homicide case. To me, that sounds like a political appointment. I don't know the facts, but I never heard of something like that. You work your way up through, and the ones who rise to the top, whoever they may be, generally are the ones you want working homicide. And because the job of the homicide supervisor is not just to click stats and stuff like that. Their job is to monitor the cases of the investigators and make sure that they are following cogent leads, that they have a good strategy for the case, and that they're not going off the deep end on rabbit trails. And so how can you do that if you're the one who somebody else should be monitoring?
Yeah, I would think the supervisor, by definition, would be someone with a lot of experience.
Yeah, and it's funny in the FBI. There's a lot of.
I was hoping was that the insider was going to be somebody that had inside facts.
There's a lot of consternation about sometimes
investigation again.
Agents just off probation putting in for supervisory positions when most agents on competitive squads. First of all, they don't want to be supervisors. They want to work the cases. And secondarily, it'll take you 10 years working your way up through the skills, through you have to make cases. Somebody who's never made a case on the homicide squad is not going to be considered for the supervisor. So then you have to wonder why somebody who's never even worked a case got made a supervisor.
One thing that this source said in the interview was that the sheriff, and this is basically a quote, put friends in positions of power versus people based on merit. So friends instead of people based on merit. And I know you were in the FBI, where I don't think it's as political because you don't have elected sheriffs and that kind of thing. But did that ever happen in the FBI? And when you would work with local municipalities on cases, did you see things like that happen where someone would get a job because they were friends with someone instead of, merit and how much experience they had?
I'm not going to say it never happened in the Bureau, but it was rare. And the reason is that there's a protocol. You can't just in the FBI say, oh, we need a supervisor here. I like him. He's going to do it. What you have to do is, because it has to be posted nationally to every single FBI agent who's eligible, so that they know that the job is up for posting. People can have a lot to say about whether this person is skilled enough to do this job or whether they have the experience. But one person generally cannot point and say that's the guy. Unless they're very high up in the Bureau.
Are you guys here still, or am I still on the air? There's no comments. There's nobody commenting again. It's just dead as a doornail.
And I just didn't see that happen a lot. I've seen it more in local police agencies, but again, something like LAPD, they have protocols too. And while I'm sure it happens every once in a while, you really have to jump through a lot of hoops to fight the bureaucracy to get a friend in a position. And what you're describing to me, the allegation that the sheriff used or posted friends to positions that maybe they weren't qualified for, I don't know the sheriff, and I wasn't in that department. I can't allege that that's what happened, but it fits the scenario as to why somebody without homicide experience would be the supervisor of homicide.
Well, and I think too with sheriff's offices, especially kind of smaller ones, and Pima County isn't that small, but when a new sheriff comes in and there's a contentious election, I would imagine they want people in positions of power who they feel have loyalty. And there's a lot of people in the department who didn't support that person when they ran. That kind of thing, I think, happens. It gets political.
And I've never existed in that ecosystem,
right,
as an FBI agent. But I think if I'm elected sheriff and there are some people in certain positions who don't like me, and I don't want them to stay in those positions, I get that. I might remove them from those positions simply because I think they might sandbag me or not loyal to me, but might sabotage me, which would mean that they're sabotaging the department. So what I would do if I needed to replace somebody like that is I guarantee you I would find somebody who knew what the heck they were doing so that my department looked good, operated well. If you pick people who are good at their jobs to work for you, they'll make you look good. If you pick people who can't do their jobs, regardless of the reason, it's going to bite you in the ass.
How important is it to have experienced people from the very beginning stages? Like it's something with the Nancy Guthrie case, the people who first showed up, the first homicide team that showed up to investigate. I mean, obviously the deputy who's working the call when it first comes in, it's a weekend, maybe that person doesn't have a ton of experience. But, when they call in the detectives, now that we're hearing those people were not experienced, how important is it that they have some experience in the early stages, right when you walk into a scene like that?
That's crucial. That is absolutely crucial. It is like, it's hard to explain. All the evidence is fresh. All the evidence is right in front of you. The decisions you make at that point are going to either send you on the right track and accelerate the investigation of the case, or they're going to ruin evidence and send you off in directions that completely derail an investigation for several days or worse. The people who get there first can make the difference between solving a case and never solving it.
And why is that?
Again, it's because the evidence is fresh. The people, I mean, literally, the people are probably closer by than they will be tomorrow. They're probably trying to flee. I mean, people leave, if this crime happened
Caroline?
five or 50 feet, north of the Mexican border, the first person there would make sure that they took a look at every person who was crossing the border that day, because that would be something that you could only do right immediately. Evidence is perishable. It's like sushi. And, the first guy that gets to the restaurant can eat the sushi. The people that get there the next day, where it was left out on the table, it's not going to be good for them.
That's not really a great analogy because they don't do it like that. They serve sushi. The next day they make it fresh again. They don't let it sit there and you're eating 2-day-old. What do you mean, does my theory? Wouldn't you would know, right? Because you're here every day. You told me that earlier, Caroline. You would know what my theory is in the case. You've been here every day, and
that's interesting to think about. You always hear like the first 48 hours are the most important. At least I've always heard that. Is that true? Is that actually true?
It's more than, it's tighter than the first 48. Every hour that the case goes unsolved is exponentially more.
All right, you guys. My channel relies on the support from the people watching the channel. I'm not sure what to say. Last month, we were able to donate $4,000 to true crime-related charities. I use ad revenue, channel memberships, super chats, gifted memberships, all that stuff. My channel makes an income, and then I give away tons of money as well. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, maybe gift some channel memberships, that would be cool. Super chats, whatever the hell it is, that would be great. And thank you, Justin. Well, I know, but if you were here every day, Carolyn, you'd know what my theory is, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So that means that you weren't telling me the truth. Yeah. So what my theory is in this case is that at about 1:47 in the morning, the individual comes to the door here. They probably scouted out the house on a different day, but prior to that. And they went up to the door, and then they removed the front doorbell camera at 1:47, and it's not in play ever again in the case. It's doesn't connect again or something like that, or they would have said that. They just said the doorbell camera is disconnected, so that's out of play at that point. The reason they removed the camera is they know that they're taking Nancy Guthrie out the front door, and they're going to be parking their car right here, which is right in the way of the camera. You can see it. See, the car would be right there, and just easily you'd be able to make out the make and model, etc. So that's the only reason they removed that camera. Then after they did that, knowing that the camera likely had picked them up, they stood back for a while. Now, there's a couple arguments. He has the backpack on, he's ready to go, everything, the balaclava, etc. And so if he went back to the car at that point, then he would have to take the backpack off, put it in the car again, and then drive over, then put the backpack on, maybe to go back inside, or maybe he just had the backpack on to figure out how to, to get in, but I don't even think he'd been to the backyard yet. So the idea that there's a driver of a vehicle and he's got a walkie-talkie in some instances makes a little more sense, but I only think one person went inside the house. So anyways, he had to go away for a little bit to make sure that law enforcement didn't show up. And now, let's just say 20 minutes or so. You just wait, maybe he's standing over here somewhere, hiding back there. And then when law enforcement doesn't show up, he goes around the back of the house, Now here's one thing I was thinking about today. That it's possible that he climbed over, he came this way, and this camera picked him up at 212 as he jumped over that fence, and this camera did not pick up the motion. And then he breaks the floodlights here, making it dark back there. Then he goes around here and then enters the home. So at 212 is when it picks him up in the entry of the house phase of his time there. Then he goes into the backyard, and then he goes through the door that's right over here. And I think when he opened it up, he probably propped it open. You could argue that he went inside, tied Nancy up inside the house, and then he opened that up. But why would you do that since you're taking her out the front door anyways? I think he just opened the back door and propped it open in case somebody showed up and he was going to take off and sprint out and jump over the wall and leave. So he goes into the house somewhere after 212, and then right around 226, 228, around that time frame, she's too far away from the unit in the house. Her pacemaker stops connecting, and then she goes out this front door right here. There's drops of blood inside the house on the front door, and then outside on the tiles outside the front door, and the metal door on the outside opens outwards, and the one inside swings inward. And I think the person just walked next to her, sort of opened the door. She's next to her, then kind of like getting her out a little bit, and then the back door shuts, and then I think Nancy Guthrie is just sort of bending over and coughing, and she's being, kind of being held up by the guy to her right, and that's why there's no blood droplets, and there's the space over there where her blood droplets go down the left side pretty much, and then kind of veer to the center. And then her blood droplets stop at the end of the walkway because she got into a vehicle and was driven away. And that's it right there. Okay? That's it. But anyways, you guys, I hate to just have to keep asking, but we're already like 30 minutes into the show, and we're at 1/60th of a nightly goal. So if somebody has the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. Thank you. Thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. All right. So that's the theory. All right. Did you get it that time? I don't know if she... I don't know. I was trying to answer her question, but I don't know. She looks like she disappeared again. The person that watches my show every single day but doesn't know what my theory is that I've repeated every single day for the last 3 weeks. Let's see. All right, so there we go. Okay, back to the interview.
Or difficult. When I worked, I remember one school shooting. The guy got away, carjacked somebody, and he was out somewhere in this Los Angeles San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, I'm not saying the why, Alex.
I'm
just telling you what happened.
The San Fernando Valley for...
Right. Like Alex goes, my theory is that that was addicted to them, to be honest. Otherwise, someone close to the family. But my theory is someone that was addicted to them. What does that mean? Addicted to who? Savannah or Nancy? Yeah, I don't know what the why is. 100%. I think my main theory is that Nancy was abducted, and it was for ransom that went wrong. That's the one that makes the most sense if you put it all together. I don't know, Gray, what about the... and then you have the part where, sure, he contacts, somebody sent we don't know if the ransom notes are real or not. It seems like Savannah believes that the first 2 ransom notes are real. The FBI probably thought they were, but then why did he forward one to TMZ? Well, last night I thought, well, maybe it was because when he sent it to the first 2 places, he thought that they would come forward with the information too, and they didn't. So then he was wondering, did they even get this? And so then he sends it to TMZ knowing that they are going to come forward with it. See what I'm saying? Yeah.
8, 9, 10 hours, and we were working him the whole time. Had we been able
I think you're rude, Carolyn. You know?
to get one more break, we could have gotten him before he left town. Those
See,
first
that's
8
what I'm saying.
hours were
See,
crucial.
you're just another troll that came in here. Yeah, thanks for letting me know, though. See you later. All right, here we go.
And unfortunately, we couldn't turn him in that time. And somebody died eventually in those 8 hours. And, you think about that constantly. What could I have done differently? How could I have got something going? But every single hour is crucial.
Yeah, like with Nancy Guthrie.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the body was, buried in the desert. So, I mean, there's a lot of desert in Arizona, and there's a lot of bodies in the desert in Arizona.
And it's always, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback these things, but the fact that our source is saying that the supervisor had no previous homicide experience, it just makes you wonder if you had experienced people that got in there quickly, would they have canvassed the neighborhood faster? Would they have? I feel like there's a lot of things that could have happened. Yeah.
You take charge. The first one there takes charge. You say, I need a perimeter setup. I need a perimeter setup at all the roads that'll come in and out of this place. I need witnesses interviewed right now. I want people who were here at the time of the crime.
Stinger.
I want you canvassing every house right now. None of this stuff was done. And what if you came up, you were flying somewhere across country, and you get into the airline, or the captain says, oh, is this a button? Oh, yeah. Hey, congratulate me, everybody. This is my first time flying a jet. You'd get off the plane. In the same way, if you've got somebody who has never worked a homicide before, and they're the one who responds, I mean, I'm not saying that they're not going to be an intelligent person, a good cop, anything like that. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying that experience has a quality of its own.
Are there issues, hopefully one day they make an arrest on this case. Do these things become an issue when this goes to court?
Very easily can be.
I thought there'd be an arrest made, soon, But every week that goes by, it just seems like, man, are you guys even onto anything? I mean, I'm hoping they're onto something, and we're just not aware of it, just like in the Idaho 4 case. But it seems like something would have sort of leaked by somebody on that. I don't know.
Because if the person made investigative errors, then they would have made legal errors, very possibly. If you don't know how to pick up, or for instance, if you pick up a piece of evidence and in doing so you compromise it, then you really hurt you've lost that evidence. All you have to do is pick up one thing with your own hands without a glove, and you can almost guarantee you've lost that. And I really need to say I'm not anti-police. I mean, I've got a brother-in-law, cousin-in-law. I've got my dad.
You don't need to say that. Just say you're not anti-police. That's when you people don't believe you, is when you start rattling off. It's like sometimes when somebody, I mean, I've heard the same thing said about minorities, like, oh yeah, some of my best friends are from, it's like, okay, look, you support police, that's great. I do 100%, every once in a while they're bad apples in the police department and investigators. That's just a reality. But 99% of law enforcement, FBI, all those guys, they're good people, That's why I lean, not even just lean, I expect them to be telling us the truth. And if we prove that they didn't tell you the truth, then there's a problem. But I think it's weird when people default to not believing them. It's just, it's such a bizarre, that's the Candace Owens idiots of the world, the ones that just think, oh, everything's a cover-up, everything. It's wild. And there's way too many people out there that believe that crap, that people sell. You know, it's
Dad
unbelievable.
was an FBI agent. I was an FBI agent. I bleed blue. I want law enforcement to be run and handled by the best police officers out there, the best investigators, the best detectives, the best agents. I want the best, because that lifts the entire law enforcement community up. And so I don't enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with this. Like, Nano should have got the FBI right off the get-go. This case was way over his head. The FBI is absolutely equipped 100% to absolutely handle this case, and could have made huge progress early on had they just been given the reins and all the information right out of the chute. It seems like, though, nothing, you know, like, I don't know why the FBI can't do something with the information now. You know, the only thing that was sort of screwed up on was maybe using night, infrared or something at night, right? I mean, that's really about it. Other than that, I mean, what else? What don't they have access to? They have all the information on the CAS data. They've got all the surveillance footage. They're the ones that figured out all that stuff. You know, so I'm not really sure why they still can't do is almost like 99% of a great job that they would have done if they were in there right away. You guys get that? I mean, what is it that they're missing now? Yeah.
Saying these kind of things. I don't enjoy.
And thank you, Alley Cake and Stinger and Jim Lon. And yeah, we definitely need somebody to do a challenge of some sort, you guys. We're currently at $35 total, which is like that's like 7 gifted memberships. You know? That's just not even
making statements that might cast a certain department or certain individuals in less than a stellar light. But if you're not willing to say the king has no clothes, you know, then you're just playing along with them. And you've got to be truthful about it in order for law enforcement to be exceptional.
Yeah, and I've never been like an anti-cop reporter. That's never been my shtick. I've always been like a kind of a pro-law enforcement person, honestly. And I've always had good sources with police through all the local markets that I worked at, and now, you know, with my national gig. So I don't, you know, like being criticizing people either, especially when there's an ongoing investigation. And I put a lot of thought into this interview and things that we're not reporting because we don't want to, influence the investigation at all. And obviously we want them to figure out what happened to Nancy. But I do think the media has to hold like sheriffs and officials accountable in situations like this.
Oh, listen, first of all, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I thought you were anti-law enforcement. Yeah. I like they say, I have a choice in the people I podcast with, and
right.
Yes, I.
But that's what sells these days. You got to be edgy and be against law enforcement. You have more information than they do, and your investigation is better because you see a little blurry pixel somewhere, and therefore you know more than the FBI and law enforcement.
I don't think that for a moment. But journalists and the media, not that it always happens, but they have a responsibility to hold law enforcement accountable. I was very involved in the Amanda Knox case in Italy, that you had a rogue prosecutor.
Thanks, Jessica.
Just locking up this innocent American girl for a rape and murder. He arrested a woman for a rape.
And thanks, Wild Bill Wassman up there. Hey, how was your? I think I missed that one. Wild Bill and Jim Lawn. What the hell is a gigawatt? Hold on, I got to get that in there. What the hell is a gigawatt?
1.21 gigawatts. What the hell is a gigawatt?
And then how's your tooth doing? Wild Bill.
And she spent 4 years in an Italian prison while the Italian and the British media said, oh, this is what they said. This is what they said. Ooh, what an evil person she was. When they should have been saying, prove the evidence, because when we finally got the evidence looked at.
Yeah, I don't know if the FBI, what they have is a time frame when the garage door opened and the garage door shut. We know that Nancy made it home, Kraft. See, this is what my same argument that I have every single time somebody's still skeptical is that Nancy Guthrie has a pacemaker. She has a cell phone. The cell phone and the home base unit for the pacemaker are sort of connected, and it tells like, oh yeah, she's connected to the unit. And then once she got too far away, it was her cell phone that said that she lost connection to that base unit. Okay? So the thing is the FBI knows that she made it home because of her pacemaker and her cell phone being, in the same place at the same time. And they know, probably based on the heart rate monitor and everything like that that's on that unit, that she was asleep. And then at a certain point, it probably increased dramatically, and they know exactly what time that she confronted the person who came into their home. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah, while she was at dinner, it was disconnected, yes. Her cell phone did not keep her connected. It really just monitors basically when she's sleeping. Or she's in her room or something like that. But if she's somewhere else in the kitchen or something like that, she probably isn't connected to the pacemaker unit. Well, good, Wild Bill.
It was all bogus. And so the family of the murdered girl never got the closure that they deserved. They never knew for sure who killed their daughter and raped their daughter, even though the evidence was very clear. And Amanda spent 4 years in a prison for a crime she didn't do. And the media owned a part of that over there. So when the media is willing to say the hard things.
See, Amanda Knox is a perfect case, because I can guarantee you right now that if Amanda Knox was a case going on right now, people like JLR and all the other clowns that sit there and just ooh, they would have accused her the entire time. There's no way they would have let her go. They just would have accusing and then accusing and accusing and accusing and accusing, and every day they would have been relentless about somebody with having no information at all except their own wild fantasy speculations, and guess what? They would all be wrong, every single one of them. Did you guys ever watch the documentary on her? They just tried to screw her over. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. All right, anyways.
Because they hate police, not because they want to defund, not because they think police are thugs or anything like that. When the media wants to go after that small fraction of people who shouldn't be in law enforcement.
See, I knew that you wouldn't just let it go when somebody completely debunked what you said, Kraft, the centricity. I could just tell by the way you had a follow-up comment. You're just, 2 minutes is not enough to get the garage walking, and it's not enough to pull the car in and pull. Look at, all they did was open the garage door. They walked her about. That's just... It's ludicrous. Hold on a second. Let me open this thing up. I knew you wouldn't be able to just accept it. Okay? Because you have a theory that you can't let go. So no matter what somebody says, you're going to have confirmation bias. All right, look at right here. Here we go. Watch. Here's the map. I'm just kind of working on this map here. I've kind of quit working on it for a little bit. It's only 21 feet from the open garage door to the door inside the house. So you're saying the car door opens. Let's say it takes 15 seconds to get out of the car after you open the door. You're saying to walk 21 feet, it takes like 45 seconds to walk 21 feet. 21 feet is nothing, okay? Then she goes into the house, And then whoever walked her to the door there turns around, goes this way, and then presses the button and shuts the door 2 minutes later. Now, we don't even know if it's 2 minutes. It could be like a minute 35, but the way they do it in law enforcement is they always drop the second off. So it could have been 50 and 40 seconds, and then it was 52 and 8 seconds when the door shut. All right? So that's the reality there. You can pretend that there is, ooh, it doesn't make sense. Things just don't add up. Yeah, that's the classic line you hear all the time. Things just don't add up, everybody. Things aren't making sense. It makes all the sense in the world. That she was driven home, the garage door opens at 9:48, walks in, and then a 22-foot walk, opens the door, goes in, and then within 2 minutes, the garage door is shut again. Oh, God, how many steps? The mailbox, that could only be to do all that good. God, you guys are crazy people. Oh, shit, man. It's wild. That's why I hated the fact when the sheriff said, man, she's sharp as a whip, but, she goes down to the mailbox and, kind of struggles moving around, maybe 50 feet or 50 yards or something. And everybody goes, okay, that's it. That's it, you guys. There is no way that she could have walked. I mean, literally she's walking and then she's about to plant a foot and it's going to be 51 yards and her foot stops in midair and she can't even plant it to get to 51 because 50 yards is exactly the point where she can never move again. It's amazing. Yeah, anyways, let's measure this right here. So here is the front door of the home. Let's just say that that's how she would go out to get the mail. So let's just start in the middle of the house somewhere just to be generic. She goes out over to here, comes around, walks out, and then the mailbox is right there. All right, so that is in yards, 58 yards for God's sakes. Holy crap, there's no way. This is a cover-up, man. This is a cover-up. She can't walk 58 yards. We've already been told that, right? This is 58. She would have had to have been carried to the front door, then go there, because then that's 50. Whoa. Wow, everybody. We just figured it out. All right, so then right over here, let's say the car pulls up, and let's just say the car was right here, right? And then from here, you walk in, and there's the door that's right in that area. And guess what that is? That's actually 13 yards, and it's even closer to that. So, like, from the door itself, right there, it's about 8 yards. It's incredible. Wow. It's 58 yards from the front door, but remember they said she can barely walk 50 yards. Whoa! On a good day, she could go to the mailbox. Well, guess what? We have to extend it out now. I don't think she camps at her front door. I don't think that Nancy Guthrie had a cot right next to the door. And then when she get the mail, she comes down here, goes down like this, comes around the corner, and then goes over to here, and then what do we got there? That's 50 yards, exactly. That's amazing. 50 yards exactly from the front door to the mailbox. It couldn't be that she was somewhere else in the house because that's been eliminated, right? Because it's 50 flat. Everybody goes by that. Have you guys noticed? Let me just say this. Haven't you noticed that people do that? They just keep trying to make a case by saying she can only walk 50 yards, therefore. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's crazy. All right, so who's going to do a challenge out there, you guys? We're struggling. We are currently at 1/5 of the nightly goal. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, give some channel memberships, etc., that would be fantastic. And I wondered if they meant she... And by the way, thank you up there to Wild Bill Wassman, Karen, and Wild Bill Wassman, and Jessica Schubach. I'm just back from the hospital. My husband had fall. Wow, sorry to hear that, Elaine. Yeah, breaking the hip's it's not a good thing. Then she could walk 50 yards on her own, or did they mean... I mean, I don't know. You know, like, but here's the thing. Everybody is too hyper-focused in on that. The distance that she could walk. And then coming up with these theories based on that. It's crazy. You know, like her room's over here. This is where her bed is basically, I would say, let's see, if that's the window, the head of her bed is right there. Okay, so let's say she was in her room and she goes, oh boy, I want to go get the mail. So let's say she gets out of bed and then she walks around and then she kind of, however you get out, I don't know if it's over here or something, and then you come out the front door, then you're over there, and then you come around the corner, and then here's the mail. That's 75 yards, you guys. She does that. She can move. She's probably not very mobile, but she can move. So let's just stop using this, trying to control theories and keeping, trying to, prove your narrative by using the distance that she can walk. Yeah, I don't know if she ever used, maybe she never used the front door. Okay, you know what that means then? So here's how she would walk. Here's the kitchen table. You know the card table that they played Mahjong at? That's right here. So let's say, and then she'd walk to the door that's right there, then hit the garage door button that's over here, then go out the garage door, come around, walk this direction, and come around, and here it is. Let's move that up just so you don't go, Gray, that one dot you had was a little too high, you bastard. So we go right there, and what do we got for a distance there? 54.9 yards, everybody. Hey, still impossible. It's absolutely impossible that she walked from the Mahjong table to the mailbox because it's 54 yards, and by God, they told us 50 was her max. So we got to stop there. There's got to be a cover-up conspiracy. Let's get a hold of the FBI and tell them that Nanos lied to us at the press conference because he said 50. Yeah. People focus on the stuff that matters in these cases here, okay? Spending all your time on these little things that are just sort of whimsical comments that aren't really precise or anything don't get you anywhere, all right? They don't get you anywhere. What you got to focus in on are the things that, some of the stuff out there, Ashleight Banfield's source and so forth, I think she has a good source because it's been accurate. So I think that when she says something, it's probably, you can look at it as a, it's hard to call it a fact because it wasn't something that law enforcement or the FBI said, but it's very close. It's something you probably trust, right? So the facts that really matter in this case are that she was dropped off at 9:48 to 9:50. Then just use common sense on like how things would. How does law enforcement know that Nancy Guthrie made it home? I've explained that earlier. They know that she made it home. So she walked. Let's say the garage door closes at 9:50. She then walks into the kitchen area, and then eventually, probably is in bed by 11. I would imagine. Law enforcement knows she made it home because her pacemaker is connected to the home unit at some point. Her cell phone's in the house. They can track that too. They know her cell phone made it there. They have digital information that shows the garage door opening at 9:48 and 9:50 closing. She makes it home. And then when she gets into bed, they know when she went to bed because that's about the time her pacemaker then starts connecting again because she's within 10 feet of it. It's probably right next to her bed, and it connected, so they know, okay, that's when she's likely in bed. It's probably, let's just say 11 o'clock or something. Might even been 10:30, who knows. Then they have her pacemaker, and it's her heart rate and everything is probably a consistent rate during the night. Then, at a certain point, it jumps dramatically. That's the point in time that law enforcement has, and they have it documented, that the person confronted Nancy Guthrie inside the home. Do you guys agree with everything that I just said right there? Is there something that you can disagree with? I mean, go ahead. I want you to try to disagree with that. This is what I do over on this channel. That's why we're accurate. What there did I say that you can't go, yep, that makes sense. That's how they would do it. Go ahead. Yeah, I just want somebody to go, well, what about, there isn't anything. What I just said was exactly the information that they're going to have. They know exactly when she was confronted. Then at around 228 is probably, there's a second value there. It's probably 228 and some odd seconds. Her pacemaker, based on her cell phone app, said that it disconnected from the base unit at 228. So that means, so what I can say at this point is that she could still be in the house at 228. She's just further than 10 feet from, whatever it is. Let's say, I don't want to do the same thing about the age thing. So when we say 10 feet, does it just go boom and just stop, right? I mean, can you sometimes be 15, 20 feet and it works, okay? Sure. Okay, so let's just say she's somewhere in the living room area or something like that at 228 when it stopped connecting. Let's see. Hold on a second. What do we got here? We got a challenge. Hey, it's Wild Bill Wassman. All right. Wild Bill Wassman's doing a freak challenge. If 5 of you gift 5, he will donate 5 as well. All right, so we need 5 $5 super chats or 5 gifted memberships. And he'll donate 5 all by himself. So just 5 of you need, if you could just do 1 would be great. All right. I'm not angry at all right now. I'm just trying to, I'm animated. What's wrong with these people, man? Get the hell out of here. I'm not angry whatsoever. Right, so 228, her pacemaker stops connecting, and that means that she's been moved far enough away. She was dead asleep. Her blanket, her sheet was pulled open. It looks like nothing was going on other than the fact it probably looked like she got up to go to the bathroom in the room and everything. Okay, but that's not what happened because there's blood at the door. So at that point, she was probably moved, and then at 228, the pacemaker stopped connecting as she's leaving the residence, probably within a minute or two of that, and then taken out the front door, put into a vehicle, and driven away. All right? Absolutely the way it went. And then, if you go back in time, while Nancy Guthrie is sleeping, an individual came up to the front door here, and, he could have walked over here, looked in these windows first, and we do see him kind of come in from this direction. He steps in from like this in that video, and he goes over there. He walks right up to the door. He tries to put his hand up there and try to jimmy the thing. And then he's like, screw this. And then he goes over, grabs a plant, and then he kind of makes an arc out of the plant. He bends it like this. And I think he was trying to like maybe pull the camera off with the plant. I originally thought that he was trying to block the view just because it blocks it for a second, but I don't think that's what he was doing. That seems ridiculous almost. Like, what if the wind blew while you're in the house and, or something, and it falls off, you're not protected. I think his goal was always to remove that camera. Okay? And so he removed the camera. And he removed it. Nancy Guthrie's still sleeping in there. And when he removed it, he thought, okay, I got to go away for a little bit because that motion, you can see the light turn on when he got there. Motion detected him. So he walked away for a while to see if anybody was notified. And nobody showed up. Okay, now it's either him taking off his backpack, getting in the car, and then driving it right to this spot here at like 210, or he waited for a while and at 211, 210, there's somebody else in the car and he's got the radio in his pocket, his walkie-talkie. Then he jumps over this fence or came over this. He could have even came over here and this camera picked him up at 212, or this camera here picked him up at 212. There's one there and there's one right here. Okay. So at 212 is around the time this person entered into the house. And then he goes over the fence, breaks the floodlights that are right there. And then it's pitch black back here. Probably didn't want some of the neighbors over here to be able to see any kind of motion, lights going off, dogs barking because they see the light. So then he's over here, and then he goes, opens up this door on the left here, props it open with plants. Probably does it really quietly. Then he goes into the house and he confronts Nancy Guthrie at a certain point. You know, it's interesting because 212 to 228 is still quite a long period of time. So it could be that once the light was broken, it took longer outside and really didn't confront Nancy Guthrie till like maybe, let's just say like 220 or so, right? It could have been a little bit longer. So 212 is when it was picked up back there, but then maybe 8 or 9 minutes later is when he actually entered the home. Hey guys, we still need 3 more of those gifted memberships up there. We're trying to get to the, the little challenge there. Did you guys see that? Come on, you guys. We're really struggling again, so we need you guys to... my channel, we bring in income in here, and we've donated $292,000 since January of 2020, which is $292,000 more than every other YouTube true crime channel out there. So we actually try to make a difference outside of the realm of doing the show, but the only way this stuff happens is if you guys are supporting the channel while we're doing the show. So can we try to at least get this challenge that we had up there? I don't know why you guys it's just taking you guys a long time to, you see it up there. This is how we make it. Yeah. All right. Anyways, so that's just about it there. What do you guys see anything in there that doesn't make sense? Now he gets her out the front door. I think he's walking to her side. Goes down here. She coughs. She kind of bends over, coughs a little bit, and then he keeps moving her. And then brings her to a vehicle that was parked right there and drove away. And now law enforcement has probably been looking for any sort of motion, lights on I bet you they have surveillance footage that's picked up lights through the trees. Especially if they're not motion activated cameras, but they just continually run. Hey, thanks, Jareth King. We need 2 more of you guys. And so somewhere out here, I don't know if the person turned left after they drove out. I'm imagining they went right. Like I've always thought he went that way, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. They could have driven here and then took a left out of there. And, I remember they did check the cameras on this house right there. So, and that's right next door. So maybe there is an element where the car drove by over here. Yeah, so this is where I have to always pause and stop the show. When nobody's doing the challenges, then it's like, okay, and then I got to stop, and then I got to say, hey, can we just get these 2 gifted memberships here, you guys, so we can reach the challenge and maximize the support for the channel because we're struggling. Out to the main road. Yeah, that's well, I think it is. I mean, it looks like you just go there and then boom, right? This one you come over here and then you have to drive. You can go to there and then come up here. That's where that one of the bloody gloves was. There's a bloody glove up here and then also down there. And then that other surveillance footage that was deemed not to be It's right there. Hey, thanks, Tamsters and Laura. There we go. Thank you, guys. Man, it's just, it's like pulling teeth in here. All right. Yeah. So we got the trolls in here now. I'm not angry whatsoever on here. I'm kind of animated because I'm, I think like I'm just working through what I think happened. And, you do see a lot of people out there, I'm on different shows and so forth. And a lot of the stuff that I've come up with on my own on this channel has migrated to other channels. And it's just sort of like become the normal process of thinking about the case now. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there prior. So hopefully you guys have noticed that a little bit. All right, so what do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts about that? Yeah, I'm not angry whatsoever. Thank you. Wild Bill Wassman and Karen W. up there. I think we're at 34% now. Hey, what, Tamster's going to do one? Hey, look at that, you guys. Tamster's doing another one. She's doing another 5 for 5er. That'd be good. That would get us up over 50%. That'd be good. If he tripped the garage driveway camera first at 2:12, does it mean the backyard camera didn't record his activity near the floodlight? Yeah, I mean that's what I was just saying. Is maybe, there is a camera right here. Let me show you guys the one. I've seen the video of it, and I think that's the one that Ashley was using yesterday, or 2 days ago. I mean. Let me see if I can find that. I'm just gotta go back a couple days here. Maybe it's in this one. No. I have so many folders, it's crazy. What day was that? I think it was, man, I don't know where that is. Hold on. I just gotta look, maybe it's in this one? No. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I just had it the other day. Should be in the Nancy Guthrie folder there. Hey, wow, thanks Wild Bill Wassman, and Lisa Belson did all 5 all by herself. Wow, thank you so much. Yes, it does. She did 5. It does. Tamsters, you did it. Thank you for your encouragement there. Hold on. I'm just going to look for another second or 10 seconds. Maybe it's that one. Oh yeah, I think this is it. I think. Maybe it was the 26th, maybe. No. 27th. No. 28th. What day was that? I just made the video like 2 days ago. So it can't be that long ago. Maybe I just made it, so let's say the first. Oh, then there's Nancy Guthrie folder. This might be it. No. Well, anyways, Ashley has a video where there's right up in this corner right there. There is, hey, thanks, Tamsters. Thank you very much. Yeah, right up in this corner right there was a security camera. And then there's a security camera right there. And then the only other one that we're aware of is the one inside there. Kind of makes sense. You know, it's a pretty good security system. The only spot that isn't covered really is right here. This spot is not covered. Right? Just right in there. This camera up here, it can see all the way over to the pool area, the yard, and it can also see, and really the pool area is sort of insignificant. You know, somebody that came in over here would probably jump over this fence and then go through the door there, and then this camera, I think, covers that. But maybe it doesn't pick up if you come in really close to the wall there, and then you... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they removed this camera, and we just aren't going to get to know, you know? That's the thing. It could be that this camera is the one that picked up 212 as he hopped over this fence. And then, but why didn't it keep recording him, too? So that's one of the things. It's like, okay, yeah, recorded a motion at 212 of a person. Well, why wasn't there a motion at 213? Was he already in the house then? Like he got picked up on motion, and then he goes through the door over here, and he propped it up. It seems like there'd be more motion. Like my cameras pick up stuff all the time. You know, there's... So what do you think of that? Hey, Lisa Belson, Laura Tamsters, Allie Cake, Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the cattle mutilations and crop circles. They have more images of people. You know, when we look at this image right here, number 10, this thing, that's just a thumbnail that they were able to uncover. That's why it's kind of way blurrier like that, because it was just a thumbnail of a motion. And I think that's what they have on those other ones, are just thumbnails, because... You know, they probably got really lucky on some of these ones because it didn't write over this little tiny portion where the thumbnail was. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if they have a ton of, you know, I mean, I'm sure they have other video, but it's probably irrelevant stuff from other days, like... They got really, really lucky in some way, but in some ways, I guess not, because they collected the camera so quickly that they were able to make sure. You know, I'm sort of wondering if, like, Annie and Tommaso, when they came over, they might be on a video, because when they came over, they probably went to this front door, and well, no, the camera was gone. So, yeah, so they got really lucky on that. The fact that the camera was removed right after this guy came here, that means that the only way it could be written over the areas would be the other two cameras in the backyard. So they got kind of lucky. That makes sense. Yeah, so the like I said before, the front doorbell camera is out of play at 1:47 and never records again. Oh, well, good luck on the surgery, Karen. Plus, Karen, you got to send me your address so I can send you the notebooks. Oh, I can answer the questions, Jason. Let's see, I think they have more video cameras. You're just not showing us. What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm just not showing you? Jesus, give me a break. Yes, everybody, I'm aware of other cameras. I'm hiding them from you guys. I'm just not showing you. Okay, there's 19 other cameras. I don't want you to see it though. Okay, I'm trying to hide things. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I gotta read some comments up here. What are you looking for, Gray? I'm not well, I'm just looking for an image that I've got. It was in a video that I made the other day, and for some reason I can't find. Well, what's today? So it would have been the 1st, right? Yesterday. Oh, here it is. It wasn't in the right the level of folder. So if you look at this thing right here, so that right there is, hold on. That is right there with a slight tilt, just like that, okay? So we're looking at that. That's what this is. Let me get the other one that's better. This one's a better representation. See that? Like that's exactly the spot. So I have this arrow pointing to what I believe is a camera because I've actually seen a clearer version of it. So you have that. And then that's like, you know, it's right there. And then this is these are the floodlights right there. I think that's what Jason was telling you. That's what I was looking for. Born Ultimate. Hey, change your name to Born Ultimatum next, all right? Yeah, it was on Court TV like a long time ago, the Bill of Rights. I mean, what does it have to do with anything? All right. The bill, not currently, I hope. Right, okay. But you guys see that, right? What else would that be? This is a floodlight, and I've seen it. It's clear. It looked just like a surveillance camera. So I think that that's a camera, and then there's another camera right there, and then the only other camera is right in the door there. We've heard that there's 3 cameras. Now, maybe there's some inside the house we're just not aware of. Okay? We don't know. Yeah, so you got to change it to Born Ultimatum next, okay? Does everyone here have home cameras? I do, yeah. I'm not everyone, though. I'm just a person. Let's see. What's the other one? There's another one, too. I guess it's Born Identity, Born Ultimatum, and then there was some other one. Player? Yeah, I think Phil's been here around a while. All right, what do you guys think, though? I mean, I don't know. I was going to go over the Tyler Robinson thing again, because I'm going to be doing a show, I think on Sunday, with Paramount Tactical, where we go over the entire case again. So I thought I would do it where I actually remember it better again. But I don't know. It seems like people are more interested in talking about this again. Like, throw something out at me. Give me a question or something. What? Somebody sent where's that coming from? Paul. Huh. Looked like somebody sent in a super chat up there, but it didn't show up on the screen. I don't know if that was just old or what that was. Huh. I'm not sure. What's going on? Thanks for joining. What are these little things? Has that thing just been going nuts all night? Oh, I guess these are the gifted memberships. I see. Yeah. No, but try to bring up something in here. I think there is a chance that there is a person in the getaway vehicle that pulled up in the front of the house there, and that's what he used to, he called that person to pull up. All right, because when you see him at the front door at 147, he's got the backpack on, he's got obviously the balaclava. He just seems like he's ready to go inside the home at that point. So then he walks away and he goes to get the car. Then he'd have to take the backpack off, etc. And maybe that is what he did, because he needs a backpack. He needs to be prepared for anything when he went to the house at 147. But it could just be that there was a car, and then he sort of wandered off into the background there, and the car was kind of the lookout. Like, hey, yeah, nope, somebody's coming, and something like that. That's about the only... see, there's no information that says that there's a second person. Because every single thing that we know about that's been done in the case could be done by one person. Every single element. I don't believe in the burrito theory, wrapped up like a burrito. It just seems ridiculous. In the sheets. And by the way, are any sheets missing? Has anybody even said sheets are missing? Oh, you mean Gray knows you? Yeah. Well, I've just seen you for a long time. I'm not saying you're... Hey, thanks, Richard Watts. All right, well, we're currently at about 58% of the nightly goal, you guys. So if you have the ability to, can do another challenge or something like that. That would get us probably to 80%, and then we could, see how we can get there the rest of the show. But that would be awesome. Yeah, there's nothing. So when they say, so maybe he had something in the backpack that he could use as the burrito shell, whatever. I don't know. Just say will do, Karen. That's all you got to do. You don't need to start filling in other information. No. If the freaks want. I'm not going to do it. We're not doing it that way, Jason. You're trying to get them to go, yeah, and then it's like, come on. If I want you to call in, if I want to open the calls, I'll do that, but not if the freaks, that's not how we do it. Oh yeah, what's your question on the Tyler Robinson case? Go ahead, what is it? What is it? I'm waiting. Daryl, what is it? Boy, I can't stand waiting for just stuff like that. No, I wouldn't. You would, though, obviously. You must think he's innocent. So why wouldn't you date him? Yeah, Daryl's going to be, he's been, what's weird about Daryl? He's been writing, that's right, that's right, I've seen this guy. He's been writing Tyler Robinson messages because he wants to be his twigs. Yeah. Good for you, Daryl. You can be his new twigs. All right, any chance we can do get another challenge or something going, you guys? We got to keep moving. Yeah, that's right. UWU. Yeah, he's out of here. You're, by the way, Daryl, I know that you think you're writing right now, and you probably are typing something really clever back, but you've been removed from the channel, so you're the only one that can see what you're typing in. I'm just letting you know, okay? So you don't have to waste your time. Yeah, that's what they do, the new ones. Yeah, maybe. We can't find it, though, Zozo. So, I mean, sure. It makes sense that she was taken somewhere. I think that's sort of like one of those things that you just assume. But how would we find out where that was? Law enforcement doesn't even seem to be able to have tracked a vehicle at this point. Thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. Yeah. Let's see. Daryl's like 2. Second crime scene. Sure. They just haven't found any of that stuff, so, you know. Right. Well, we've talked about that it seems like law enforcement thinks that it might be right here in the neighborhood, but there's no way for us to speak about it. Like, what do I say? Hey, you guys, I think that, the person lives right over here. I should put a pin on that. What if that was right? I'm just saying, I don't know what to do about that. We don't have any directional input either from the the FBI and the police haven't given us any information like, well, we see the lights heading over in this direction. It seems like, though, they often seem to kind of stay in this area here. Remember when we were doing the Bluetooth thing? Like that was right over here. Thanks, Jim Long and St. John. What are you talking about? We do, Phil. Annie. Tommaso. I'm sure they have kids. Yeah. I mean, but I don't want to look into those. I mean, that's the whole thing is, that's what the irresponsible troll people do, is you start digging around. Like, once law enforcement said that they were over, they had Annie's car, and that kind of stuff, then it was okay to kind of look at that. But then what's the point, though, of looking at other relatives really without anything at all and then posting about it and talking about it? That's where it gets irresponsible, you see. Drove home drunk and now my crush is over. What do you mean she drove home drunk? She wouldn't let you drive her? Jeez. That's kind of lame that she drove home drunk. That sucks. I know, but what would we do with that information, Zozo? I mean, we've all thought of those same things, like maybe she was driven somewhere and then they transferred, maybe the other car was this one and this. But I mean, what do we do with that? I'm trying to figure out, like, how do we figure out where the other car was? Law enforcement hasn't told us a damn thing, They don't even tell us what direction they think the person went. They have surveillance footage over here, over there, etc. They don't put any of that out there. So it's just it's frustrating. I mean, we've all thought of those things. It's just, I don't have anything to say about it because I mean, I drew this square. See this red square here? This is what I thought originally, that maybe inside of here is where she was taken. Inside of this square, this red square here. But that's it. It's just a complete guess, you know. What if someone is in the front of it for... I don't know. They usually, what cameras do, they film 30 seconds and then there's a break where it just doesn't record and, you know, waits for, you know, 30 seconds or so and then starts another motion. But if you have one of the cameras that just constantly records, then you have everything. And remember, like in the Idaho 4 case, the camera at 1112 King Road, that one films 24/7. You know, so that was pretty cool. Like, you literally could see every single thing that happened that whole night. It didn't rely on the motion of a camera or a person or a car or something. Yeah, yeah. Well, it just sends a notification like it does on any other camera. I don't know. If he kept it on, he might have turned the lights off or something, but it would still have the backlights on. I don't think it really matters, does it? I mean, how does that help figure out something, Jason? You know, how does it help figure out, like, an element? You know, if it was him, I would think when he pulled up on his own, he probably... I don't know if he would have kept it on because it would have lit. And it just takes like 2 seconds to turn a car on. It just doesn't seem like it's really that relevant. Yeah. Yeah, they just alert. They send out an alert. Yes, Cindy. I just said that. I just answered your question. I said the same thing. I just told you that when there's a motion, it sends out an alert to the phone. Okay? Now, we don't know what her system is because she didn't pay for it, and maybe that's not, you know, who knows what was going on in there. Whatever it was, they waited, and nobody showed up. That's my opinion. I don't think that at 147 they immediately went into the house and then somehow then opened the back door for some reason. I think that was done as they were heading into the home originally. Mm-hmm. Right. If she didn't have her hearing aid, she wouldn't have heard it, right? Yeah, okay, Phil. Yeah. How old are you, Phil? You're like 12? It's like, that's just not even really funny, man. It's just, hey, Gray, you look closely at Jennifer's eyes, you most likely see a resemblance to Porch Guy. LOL. I mean, that's just, there's not even any cleverness or... So once the guy abducted Nancy, what's confusing? Let's see. I'm confused. So once the guy abducted Nancy, did he make a run off the 4-story building with ankle pads to take... What are you talking about, man? I think that's just a troll. There's no way. There's no way that was legit. It's not, I don't know when I'm going to send them off, Karen, because I wait for a bunch of people's names to be in there. I'm going to view my comment, ours, chime in the hallway. Right, just get rid of that. Such a dumb... But you guys, we're frozen right now at like I don't know, 60 something percent. It's hard to do the math there, but we're way short still. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, we could use a couple more challenges. A challenge, 2 challenges and a half would probably get us to near the goal there. Yeah, he won't do it. He's never sent in a super chat, Jim. So that's not going to work for you. Yeah, it's just Troll Central. They love it. Anytime they see any sort of sign. I mean, I think a lot of times when people start showing up here, they show up to try to derail everything. You know. I don't know. I'm sure there's trail cameras. Apparently there wasn't highway cameras where they needed to be, and even if they had them, we don't get to see them. You know, that's the thing. We're not going to get to know. But man, you guys, we can't. When we have these long lulls here, it makes it so it's hard to get there. So I'll have to ask again. So if you guys are out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, we're currently at about, I don't know, maybe 60-something% of the goal tonight. If you have the ability to, that would be great. We could use a couple more challenges to get us there. I would appreciate it. Thank you. No, they don't act like anything. We just don't get to have the answers. Okay? I think they probably have an idea of where the car was moving based on lights on surveillance camera, but they don't know where it made it to. You know? They don't have any idea. They don't know if it made it, they couldn't continually track the vehicle. And I think that might be why they sometimes think it's in this area. If you guys remember the people that they pulled over? The first, like within the first week or so, they lived right up over here, right inside of my red line there. So it's right in this area. It almost seems like they think that she was brought somewhere in here because they can't find the exit point of the vehicle. Well, there's Wild Bill Wassman, you guys, trying for a wave match or, see if you guys can do it. Thanks, Wild Bill. Where would you find something online publicly with that? I'll look if you can tell me. Is it really this easy to dispose of body? Oh yeah. How do we know she was on? How do we know she was on? What do you mean? How do we know? Yeah, what are you talking about, Phil? No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm gonna. You're boring me tonight, so I'm gonna put you on timeout. Come back another night, though. All right. Thanks. You're just trying to put out stuff that's really just ludicrously thought of and just not. I know exactly what you're doing, man. You're not trying. Nobody's going to break in. Nobody's going to go into somebody's house to steal their pain meds and then abduct an 84-year-old because you stole their pain meds while you were wearing a balaclava. That just doesn't make any sense. This isn't a burglary gone wrong. Thanks, Lisa, Alley Cake, and Jim Lon. And Michelle H. I'm adopting Zozo's kangaroos. There's no orange kangaroos in Denmark, remember? I don't know where to look up stuff. I mean, there's been other people that have had motions, but sometimes they're really far away. You know, they're not even close to where, like people think it's right over here, but they're miles away. Like here's where this peeping Tom guy was that had the camera, cell phone. He was looking in. He was way over there. It's not even, and it's nowhere near Nancy Guthrie's home. And it doesn't even look like the same person. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just seems like a really, really bad luck, too. I mean, this is just, it's a nightmare. It's weird, right? Like when you look at here, I've shown you guys this before. When you look up here, it looks like, okay, you know, it's pretty populated, should be pretty easy with the cameras and whatnot. But as soon as you go to the road, man, you can't see a damn thing. And so there's almost no camera shots of the road. Nothing. I mean, look at this. It's just ridiculous. You see that? It's crazy. And even on these side streets where you think it looks a little bit better, they purposely made it like this. So everybody feels like they've got a private location, and it really just, I mean, this one here is probably about as good a chance as you're going to get. You know, maybe if there's a camera on the front of, on that garage door over here, it doesn't even look like they've got one. But if there was one, it would have filmed a car driving by pretty clearly there. But it's just really, and that would be if he went down that road that I just went on. And we don't know if it did that or not. Thanks, Tamsters. Yeah, we need about 19 more gifted memberships to reach the minimum goal, you guys. So. Yeah, 18 now. Thank you, Lee Hilliard. Wow, that matched perfectly, Lisa Belson. She'll do 10 if the freaks do 8. That's 18. That's a miracle. Did you hear what I said? That was pretty funny. All right, so if you guys do 8 out there, Lisa Belson said she'd match 10, right? So that means just 8 random, single $5, you know, 1 5, you know, just $5 or a gifted membership. And then that would get us to the minimum goal. That'd be sweet. Yeah, so this one, I think that's a floodlight. I mean, this isn't another one of those neighborhoods that just doesn't have any cameras, is it? I mean, this is stupid. Don't you guys love this look right here, though? Like the rustic adobe. It's just so awesome. And what a cool little basketball area and everything. I mean, that's just such an awesome little miniature little area there. All right, we got Wild Bill Wassman. We need 7 more of those. Yeah, so this is where there's construction right here. Where is this one? Oh, weird. I didn't even know that one was that had construction on it. So that's right there too. You know, that's Nancy's house, and then just right there. Uh-oh, man. Let's do a body comparison, man. Yeah, anyways, all right, right there. All right, you guys see the challenge up there? We need to get the last. If you guys can do those 7, that would really be helpful. Yeah, it's interesting up here. When was this? This date on this is... man, you guys... Yeah, we got to do it. Yeah. See, it's just really a brutal situation all around, and the investigation, what happened to her. There's just, normally when these kind of things happen, you're in a neighborhood that is, just kind of like there's homes and then a street and so forth. This is built specifically for privacy, and the surveillance cameras that everybody has are just there to film the streets. I mean, not the streets, to film around their house. So they're not really meant for filming the streets, right? Yeah, it just doesn't matter. Whatever they did, Jason. It's not really it's like one of those things that's sort of overthinking, trying to add something, sure. It just doesn't help figure out who did anything or whatever. They probably went, oh, I'm going to turn it off. But it's like something to think about for no reason, Let's see. Yeah, I would have just, if I was by myself, I would just turn it off, go into the house, get her out, open the door, put her in, and take off. If it was somebody else, you might pull up as they're coming out. But hey, guys, how do we get these last 7 gifted memberships in here? I'm just trying to get to the goal tonight, you guys. Man, I don't know. It's not looking... I've never seen such little enthusiasm for such a thing that would help the channel out so much. That's 10 gifted that she'll match. 8. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyways, this whole area is not meant for helping cops. I mean, it just absolutely doesn't help at all. Terrible. Like, even if you look right there, what does this look like? I mean, this is like the most wide open space that you could see. And then even here, it's just not great, You see, like, there's always trees, something blocking everything. This might have, maybe that looks like a light there, so that's not a camera. And by the way, you can't, like, your lights have to point downwards. They can't affect the ambient light out there. Hey, thanks, Alley Cake. So we got 2. We need 6 more. It's $30 worth of super chats or memberships would do it. And then I'll tell you what, I'll donate 5 if you guys do the last 6. So that would be 15 for 6. All right? Man. All right, so now it's 15 for 5, you guys. I know, this is where I originally thought, inside of this red outline right there. And if you're here, the reason we try to raise the funds on the channel every night, one, it helps support the channel so I can afford to do all the stuff that we do here. And then secondly, which is the most important element, is that we donate thousands of dollars every single month out of the income. We're already at $12,000 this year so far in 3 months, so it's $4,000 average. If we can keep that up, we'll be at 48, and we have a scholarship fund, we have a DNA fund, we donate to various charities, including Texas Equisearch, RAIN, NCMEC, etc. And at the end of the month, and sometimes during the month, depending on how we're doing, I just pool up a ton of the money and send it in. And so I know some people don't like that element, but I don't know I don't know another way to do it to make things work, because it's like if I don't say something 90% of the time, it just lingers on and on and on. So right now we need 5 more gifted memberships, and then I'll donate 5 and Lisa Belson will do 10. Okay, that's 15 more. The University of Tucson. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, Jason, why do you think that's important? Like if the car was running or not? It's just sort of a, like a thought or something, it's, yeah, right here. Man. Here's the university. I think it's the, it's the University of Arizona. That Zach guy, he lived right over here. I guess my speech didn't have any effect. What do you mean a webcam at the church? What would be at the church? She never made it to a church. Hey, thanks. Whiskey Boots. 4 more, you guys. 4 more. I'm trying, Lisa. I'm trying my best to get those in there. Which church are you talking about? Looks like they do a webcam and a church. Who? I don't know. I just think they're, it's up here. It's at late at night. We're looking at 2:30 in the morning. There's a vehicle that drove somewhere. It seems like they kind of thought it went over here. That Circle K they were interested in. Hey, there we got Stinger again. Oh, yeah? Which church? Send me a link to that. Maybe we can look at it. All right. 3 more to go, you guys. 3 more to go. Has anybody done any submissions for the next scholarship round yet? Because it's open. Hey, Cindy, how about you focus in on your own? This is what I don't like that you do. I've seen them all, okay? Jesus. You're just can't stand it when you jump in and meddle in the workings of the show. Just focus in on yourself. You haven't supported the channel, so you don't need to be, looking into. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5. We need 3 more, just like I said, Cindy. I've been paying attention. A lot of suspicion about the church. What do you mean? I don't have any suspicion about the church. What does the church have to do with anything? I mean, I get the camera angle, wanted to see if there's any camera footage, but what does it have to do with anything? I don't understand that. What's the, she was supposed to go in the morning to somebody's home, but she was abducted in the middle of the night before getting to go to the church. So what do you think that means? Oh, is that what you're saying? I thought you were talking about, okay. So, just somebody that goes to a church, maybe. You think, like, she ran into him at a church? Hey, thanks, Tracy Van Bront. But you're not, though. Come on, Cindy. You're always trying to point out if I miss somebody or something. I know what the count is. I and now we need 2 more. Did you catch that one? But it's okay, Cindy. This is just how you and me are, Gilligan and Skipper. I'm Gilligan, you're Skipper. Doop! Gilligan, little buddy. Skipper! So maybe you can explain the church angle again, Tamsters. What's something that you're thinking about related to the church? There's a whole bunch of Presbyterian churches. They're all over the place. Which one? I don't see a bell tower. I don't see anything. I see Bellevue Tower Apartments. You didn't really, just saying Presbyterian Church, there's like 10 of them. Hey, Tracy Van Bront. So we need 2 more, you guys. 2 more gifted memberships, and then I'll donate 5, and Lisa Belson, if she's still even awake at this point, it's been so long. No, I'm not behind you at all, Cindy. I'm way ahead of you. That's the reality of it. I'm not behind you at all. That's why you said, hey, did you say Tamsters? I already said that like 20 minutes ago. You're behind. It's the other way around. You're about 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds behind. You are on delay, not me. Now let's do this. I'm going to count to 5, and when I say 5, you guys type in the number 5 as soon as you hear me say it. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you guys are 15 seconds behind on the first one. Like John Miranda right there, when they typed in 5, that was 15 seconds after I said 5. So you're way behind. And if you're not even caught up on there, you're even the 15 seconds plus whatever you're behind. All right? All right, you guys, we need 2 more gifted memberships. Can we please do it? We need to get there. But what is the webcam going to do, Zozo? In this case, I'm just curious. What is it going to do? Well, look at Cindy just typed in 5. That's like a minute and 20 seconds later. You guys see that? That's like way after that. So if you guys got to refresh your browser, for God's sakes. All right. Are you still up there, Lisa, or do you go to bed? I might have to do it myself. I don't know how to do it because I can donate 5. Trinity Life Church. Is that the one you're talking about? So when you say you want a webcam, you mean like one that films the street? Or what? What do you mean? Well, Jason Bourne, you're way behind too. All right, you guys, we still needed 2 more gifted memberships. Any chance at that? I mean, you guys are keeping us from getting $50 worth of gifted memberships. Over here, that one? I mean, that one's sort of an interesting, if that films that road, that would be interesting. Over here, I mean, because it is, if they happen to come out and go up north that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, it'd have to film along. It wouldn't be useful though. I mean, it's so far away that the cars are tiny over there. You get what I'm saying? You wouldn't even know what you're looking at. Welcome, John. Hey, well there you go. you joined and then you bought one for somebody. That's nice of you. So thank you, John Miranda, for purchasing a gifted membership, and we just need 1 more, you guys. It may show vehicles in the area if highway cams weren't running. Yeah, it's I think it's too far away. Don't you think? I mean, let's just look at it like this. How about we go down to a street here and go even a little bit further down the road just for the hell of it. You see, like, way over there, see how small that car looks? And then it's even further away than that. Because that's just right at the turn, and then it's over there that you would hope that a high-up camera... Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that, it's a possibility it would show, like, the light of a vehicle. Maybe. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to give us the footage anyways, All right, guys. We need 1 more gifted membership. Oh my God! Somebody actually did it. Unbelievable. Horse Teeth, Cow Teeth. One of the best names on YouTube. Horse Teeth, Cow Teeth. Nobody knows what that means, but by God, it does exist. I was going to do, I think tomorrow during the day, I'm going to go over the, I'm going to do like an earlier show. Thanks, Lisa Belson. I wasn't sure if you went to sleep or not. It was like, it took so long. It was... All right, there you go. Thank you. Horse teeth, cow teeth. Yeah, that's pretty good. Nobody knows what that means, but... All right, okay, I'm going to open up the lines now. Here we go. I guess I'll just have to do... I'm going to do middle of the day tomorrow, unless there's breaking news. Maybe like at noon, I'm going to go over the Tyler Robinson, the whole thing again. Okay? Because I gotta get it in my mind before Sunday. Hey, thanks, Lisa Belson. That was very kind of you. I really appreciate it. And thanks everybody else, you know, for jumping in there. Wild Bill, you're always doing that. So how about I'll do that tomorrow. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open up the phone lines. We actually have a phone number on here. There it is right there. And let's put it a little higher up there. And now you can call in. All right. And you can say what your thoughts are on this case and what they need to be doing. You can call all the way in from Australia. Let's see. Welcome all new channel members. Yeah, welcome all the new freaks, and thanks for buying, joining on your own there, John, and then you purchased one for somebody else. We give, like a lot of the freaks donate memberships a lot. And I try to, like if we reach certain numbers, I donate 5. I have 10 free ones to give out at the beginning of the month. Those are gone now. And then the rest of them, the month, I have to spend the same $25. Well, call in, for God's sakes. There's a number on the screen. Horse teeth, cow teeth. I think they tried to explain it one time. It just didn't add up. All right, Jason Bourne, where are you? I don't want to talk about the car being turned off, though. I don't think that's important. It's just like, sure, he may have had the car turned off if it was by himself, but if it was somebody else, they would just pull up and they would hurry up and get her in the car and then drive away. It doesn't mean anything. There's nothing to consider about it that helps something. Yes, everybody. Thank you all for reaching the various challenges that were out there. Makes a big difference. And thanks for the people who did the challenges, because I know that you spent more on your end. Very kind. Yeah, he could have had an electric car. You know, he may have actually had a few Oompa Loompas type people push the car in. So it was even quieter. And then they put these sort of blown up wheels, you know, the ones that you use at the beach. They put those on there, and it just kind of, it almost glided in there. It was amazing. You think it was a horse? You think it was horse teeth, cow teeth? I mean, that's kind of ironic. I didn't watch it the first time around, but I will this time. Yeah, we went over that at the beginning of the show. Leticia Stauch. Yeah, I watched. I think we covered that trial as it was going on. The whole time. We did the whole case on my channel. It's one of the only times I've covered a live trial. I mean, she's just absolutely guilty as hell. All right, who's going to call in? Who's going to be one of a new caller? Call in and talk about what you think about this. Somebody different. Motorcycle and Nancy was in the sidecar. Jeez. Somehow I don't think that that's accurate. I don't know why. Doesn't sound right. All right, do it, Jim Lawn. You can do it. Hopefully it works. Yeah, that was pretty fun, the Murdoch trial. Do you think he'll get another trial? Because of that lady that worked there? I wouldn't be so shocked if he got another one. But it's been a while. It seems like they would have already ruled on that. Jason Bourne always takes off before whenever he's, I say, yeah, okay, we're ready for calls now. I wonder how it would work if, hold on. Hello? Who's this?
Oh, hey Gray, this is Annie.
It's Annie. Can you guys hear Annie
call.
out there?
I mean, Annie's call.
Well, I mean, your name is Annie, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
Hey, love the show. I was just calling to talk about the Nancy Guthrie case and wondering if you think it's the weirdest case you've ever covered.
I don't know if it's the weirdest one, but it's I think it's interesting. It's interesting regardless of Savannah, like Savannah made everybody think, oh wow, this is what a crazy interesting case. But I think it's even if Savannah wasn't part of it, it'd be interesting. It just wouldn't be as popular just naturally like that. But
right.
When you say the weirdest case, no, I mean I think there's a lot of cases that are very similar. It's just that this one, I mean, I guess it's hard to get away from the fact that it is Savannah's mother, and she's just kind of removed. And what makes it a little bit more weird is that there's no cameras or anything anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and also where is she?
I know. Yeah, I mean, she obviously was taken out the front door and obviously put into a vehicle. The blood trail stops right there. And then she's driven away. And then they can't... It seems like they keep looking in the same area. It's weird. Remember when they were flying around with the helicopter with the Bluetooth deal?
Yeah.
Like a Bluetooth amplified detector deal. They're just still flying around right in the neighborhood there. Like, why would they do that?
Right.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah.
So it makes you think that their surveillance canvassing it sort of led to, it never left the area. They couldn't say that it left, so they're not sure, Pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's been, ever since the doorbell camera footage got released, there hasn't been any other breaks in the case, right?
No. Nothing.
That's the last thing that...
Well, they did say that they found other images on the camera. They're just these other people that they don't think are connected. At least they're not telling us they think they're connected, but just other days, January 17th, there's a gardener working in the back or something,
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're just thumbnails. They're not video.
Yeah. Okay, but then other than that, nothing, no more information. I mean, it's pretty much gone cold.
Well, what's weird is, this all happened on February 1st, right? And the last time that law enforcement had a formal communication about this case was February 5th. That's ludicrous. I mean, just 4 days into it, and then they just go, yeah, forget it. I mean, there's not been one other press conference, no more information put out there.
Right. I guess that's why I asked you about use the word weird. I mean, maybe that's the wrong word, but there's just very strange.
It is strange. I mean, I won't say it. I don't know if I can say it's the weirdest case I've ever done, because I've covered literally thousands of cases over the last, 10 years or so. And there's a lot of really weird ones. But it's right up there. I mean, with just sort of the lack of information.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't really have much more to contribute. I just wanted to. Well,
hey, at least you called in. That was cool. It was good too. It is a weird case. It was a weird. So.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll keep listening.
Thanks for calling in.
The call.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right. There you go. What was her name again? It was Annie, right? Yeah. Not the Annie, right? I mean, that would be crazy. What was she doing calling this show? All right, line is open. We got another 30. Oh, here we go. Uh-oh. Hello? Hello? Oh. Hello?
Hello, this is the Born Ultimatum.
Born Ultimatum, all right. What's going on? The old, hey, do you think you turned the car off routine? Come on, forget it.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it doesn't mean, I don't even want it. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if it doesn't, then why should I even bring it up and go any further on it?
Well, it just doesn't, right? Like, when you think about it, it's like, okay, maybe the person just pulled up there if he was using a radio, or if they parked there, he would have turned it off, came in and turned it on, and turn it on when he leaves. It just doesn't, it's not a valuable data point for the case. It doesn't even mean anything. It's just guessing. But what else you got?
Well, so I was thinking about, your video and asking about whether we thought it was, which camera that we thought it was from the outside. And I racked my brain around that 10 ways to Sunday, and I kept thinking to myself, okay, if I was that guy and I was coming hypothetically up the garage driveway, and I was headed towards the garage, headed toward the guest house in that direction, headed toward the gate, that at some point I'm going to trigger that camera that's mounted up on that guest house.
Yeah, this one here. Yeah, you'd know it.
Yep. And even so, if I hug that shrubbery along, I got to pull you up, so if you're in on it, I can see. Okay. So even if I was hugging the shrubbery, at some point it's still going to pick me up on that camera. So it's like, I don't know how I could really get close to that unless I was on the outside of that shrubbery, on the outside of the driveway on the right, but I don't know if there's...
It seems kind of dumb that he would just, you would think with him surveilling the home that he would know that there was that camera existed. I would think he wouldn't know that the camera in the backyard existed, the one, right? So maybe it would seem smarter to go around the back, outside of the range of the garage camera, and then jump over the fence. And then that's what my original theory is that's the one in the backyard that set off the camera at 212. And then maybe going over to where the floodlights are is out of range to the side of the camera on the the roof there. You know, because it's kind of really
Well-
sharp angle to the left, you know.
Your original theory is making actually more sense to me, because I was thinking that if they did come up the driveway,
Well, it's still my theory.
if he did,
I just
Yeah.
said it's possible that one other one set it off. I mean, I just think it's this one over here.
but the reason why is, isn't it true though that if you came up the driveway and you wanted to access her, if you wanted to go in through the back of the house and you wanted to go in through those doors in the back of the house, you got two ways. You can either go around the left side of the house and, you know, go around the way that you had suggested in the 3D animation, or you go around the right side and you go up the driveway. But if you go up that driveway and it triggers that camera, then that means that for you to hop that fence and get over into that backyard, now you're going to trip the second camera that's up in the backyard.
Yeah, maybe though. That's the thing, is we don't know how they were working. He wouldn't know that, and it could just be, you know, after he came over, he broke the light, and then later. I mean, it just, one of the cameras is the one that was triggered, right? I just think it's the one inside the yard, not the one that films the garage door. You know, so I think he just hopped over the fence in the back.
Well, it seems to make more sense. I mean, because you had said earlier in the show tonight, and I agreed with that, you know, if both of them were working, why wouldn't you see two timestamps, like from both cameras?
Well,
like
I think I was
picking up.
Yeah. Well, actually, what I was saying earlier is why didn't it film like more than one time on one camera? You know, like he hops over the fence and immediately goes bing, and then he's over there, you know, putting the plant on the door and everything. It just seems like he would have been there long enough where it like had another motion, you know, at like 2:13 or something.
So there's no, I mean, I looked at, I could see the one flower pot on the outside of the rear gate.
There's tons of them.
And it looked like, yeah.
Well, there's tons of flower pots. Well, there's tons of flower pots underneath that awning, like literally like 30. I mean, not 30, but 10.
That's what I wanted to ask, is the one that he used to prop open the gate, do you think that came from inside the backyard?
Yeah. I just think it was underneath that awning area there. There's like multiple pots under there. I'll see if I can find the image somewhere. I don't know, you can talk or whatever. I got to go look.
Okay. And that was the other thing, sure, and that was the other thing, too, that I was wondering about, was that if there is an image, or if, I mean, presumably you would think that if the way the gate is built, the way most of the normal gates are built, that if you're coming in from the outside, that door is going to swing inward. So that if the rear gate was propped open, that the direction it would be propped open would be swung inward toward the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm asking that question is because, just hypothetically, if it swung the opposite way and it was propped the opposite way, you would think that it might trigger the camera that was mounted up on the guest house that was facing the driveway. But if it swung to the inside and it was propped on the inside, would that even activate the camera, you know, on the guest house?
I mean, you might be too far off, maybe too far out of view if you pulled it towards you and then put a pot, you know. It's hard to say, you know. And my thing is, I believe that that's a camera because it looked just like one, and I've seen video where it was clear. That's why I remember marking that down. But, you know, that one that Ashley put out, that's not as clear as that one.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt, is there, that is a camera up there?
I didn't have any doubt when I
saw the driveway.
I didn't have any doubt when I saw it originally. You know,
okay.
I just haven't seen it.
I mean, it certainly would
since.
make sense that you'd want to surveil that side of the property for security.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd want to.
Yeah,
you'd want to have a camera there filming the driveway leading to the garage. And then you have one in the back that covers the whole pool area and the yard. And then one in front, they're just sort of missing that lower, that sort of about 90 degrees of the house area from the front door around to the pool. So around by her door and everything, her porch, her little private little patio there, and around. There's no camera that we're aware of over there.
And speaking of that little area right there, and I don't know that you would know this, but I mean, someone may have talked about it. I haven't seen any talk about it, but if someone was driving down the road and it was late at night and it was dark and her bedroom light happened to be on, would that be visible from the road? Could you see it from the road?
Yeah.
Her bedroom light from the road?
It seems like you could see it through the trees. I mean, so even right there, well, yeah, it's hard to, let me just look at this. Yeah, there's a gate, it's a pretty high wall, that little wall that she has there, the privacy wall for their little patio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you can see it through here. That's what this is. And so it would be up here where the light would be.
Yeah, and I was asking about that because, for example, if they were getting ready to, even if they were surveilling and they were thinking like, okay, we want to make sure that we're going in there at the right time, and if they were watching from the outside, that would be fairly easy to detect once she went to bed because, if you were looking from the outside and you could actually see her bedroom window, you'd see the light go on in there, presumably, and then you'd see it turn off. And you would know that she was then probably asleep in bed, or she was laying in bed at least at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just kind of showed up really late, and they knew that she'd be asleep, I mean, 1:30 in the morning, most people are asleep. And probably if the light was on, maybe it would have changed something. They wouldn't have to wait around, like just sit there and wait, and then, I mean, so, like, it took them she went to bed at 11 and turned the lights off. Or 12 even. They're going to sit there and wait another hour and a half before even, I don't know. I just think that it just, I mean, they just got there. If the light was on, maybe it would have changed what they did. Who knows? But I think they got there late.
So, sure. The other thing, there's a couple other things too that I was thinking about that I wanted to ask, and that is that, so when Nanos mentioned the possibility of some animal, potentially triggering the camera, do you think, I mean, because the way I was looking at the backyard, it does not really look like any big wildlife like a javelina or a loose dog could get in that backyard. So they would think that if he's bringing up the animal, that the only camera that would apply to, because the front was already ruled out, it was disconnected. So by process of elimination, it would only be the driveway camera that would have like a wild animal running by it or a loose dog or something.
I don't know. You can get
from that.
Yeah, you can get cats or raccoons and any kind of animal can get into a yard like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it
So
could.
that wouldn't-
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what his subconscious was thinking, other than the fact that he's putting the camera outside because he said it could be an animal. There's no way in hell that would even cross your mind if the camera was inside. Although, again, the doors were propped open. So, if you want to really kind of, he thought maybe a raccoon or whatever went inside the open door and was inside the house. See, nobody would think like that. To me, it just means that the camera was outside.
So it's interesting, because the more and more I think about it, I think like it would be highly attractive for the perp to say, okay, I could walk right up that flat driveway, I could creep up the driveway, and as long as I walk softly, I'm not going to make a sound. Like, I will not be heard if I go that route. And I know that I can get right around to that gate. And, even just hypothetically, if he pulled over a flower pot that was over by the guest house that was leaned up against there, he could just stand on the edge of that and hop right over the fence. No problem, And so it seems like it would be very easy for him to do. But if he did that, then not only would he have tripped that camera that faces the driveway, but then he tripped the one in the backyard as well. You know, both of them would have to be tripped if he did that. Because
Yeah, if he jumped over.
stepped his foot.
Yeah. I mean, but we also don't know how these cameras are working and, you know, how they're collecting the data. I was kind of wondering, you know, I don't know, but they grabbed the camera that was on the backyard side, and I don't know what they were doing with that, but we just don't know. I mean, sure, if they were both working and one of them would have picked up something, you know, we just don't know what the condition was. I mean, it sounds like they kind of neglected the cameras. But yeah,
So
sure.
then-
If you hop over the fence, then yeah, it might set off the one in front of the garage, and it would set off the one in the backyard as you entered in there. Right. But all we know is that one was set off. So he probably jumped over the back fence, went in there, and went straight underneath the awning and propped it open. I don't know when the gate was propped open. You know, like, or I mean. See, again, this is stuff that law enforcement didn't say. You know, this is just something like a source that told Ashleight Banfield. I think it's true about the door being propped open because Savannah said that the doors were propped open. She probably meant the two doors on the one door, the metal door and then the internal door. I don't know if she was talking about the gate, which is a gate. It's not a door, you know, so... you know, I don't know about that one. It's causing, I mean, it was almost worth not having that as part of the case because it's turning into a red herring that makes you have to think something is true. The only thing that I really feel confident about is that door under the awning was propped open because that's been at the beginning, since the beginning, and then Savannah admitted it.
So then other things that could be propped open may not be accurate?
Well, I'm just wondering, the gate's the only thing that I'm not certain about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because look at the problems it's creating. You know, like, oh, wait, now, if you open up the gate, wouldn't that have set off the other camera? And then, you know, would he walk around that side and then hop over the fence, prop that open? Then he goes under the awning and props that open. And then, sure, both cameras would do that, but then we don't know what the condition of the cameras are. So maybe the one that's filming the garage wasn't doing that because law enforcement didn't say they had anything related to that in terms of Tommaso dropping off. They said digital information showed that at 9:48 it opened, 9:50 it closed, and that was consistent with what they were told by Tommaso. Right, so that means that they don't have that on video, and nor is it likely that a camera detects a motion at that time, because they didn't mention that in the timeline or anything. So I don't know what the deal is with that. That camera might not be working at all. It just was there. You know, I have one camera that was old, and it just sort of sits there. It doesn't have any, you know, there's no meaning to it. It's just so high up in the air, I didn't bother taking it off.
So at any time, did you see FBI or know of FBI attend to the one camera
No.
that faces the garage driveway?
I've never seen any video of that or anything.
Okay. So it almost makes you think that the only reason that they would take the other camera off was because they thought that that was operable and that it may have had some type of clue in it that was something they could find useful. But if they didn't do anything with the camera that was facing the driveway, it almost implies that it wasn't useful to them. It didn't contain any useful information.
Yeah, or I mean, they would only know that though by removing it. I would think, you know, because I think some of the stuff was internal into the camera itself, but I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. I just think it's the one in the back that filmed it, but it could be the other one, and then the other one didn't pick it up, and now they're looking at the camera, trying to see if they can find something else in it, the other camera. It just is what it is. All I really care about is that 2/12 is the time frame that somebody's in the backyard area. Like, there's no motion before that, so then the person likely didn't enter the home before that because they would have set off something back there. So it was at 2:12 when finally a motion was tripped.
Well, the more I think about it, to me it seems likely that if that camera wasn't working, that was facing down the driveway, and that is the direction that they came from, and that it didn't pick him up, that it would still pick him up once he was in the backyard. It would still pick them, as soon as he came in the backyard and hopped over that fence, it'd pick him up. And so that the reason why that would be relevant is because then it would tell you that if he went that direction, he didn't have to creep around through the back and go through the brush and around the shrubbery and around the cactus.
Yeah, he could just hop over the fence. I mean, whatever. However he got there, right? I mean, it's just, it's at 2:12, he's in the back there. So that's when he, is making his way into the home around that time frame, in my opinion. But I mean, it'd be nice to know specifically if the camera didn't work that we're talking about. Then yes, he could have jumped over that fence, not set off that one, and probably might not have even seen it there because it wouldn't have lit up when he walked by. And so, and then he just sort of hops over, and then he's picked up by another camera that he had no idea even existed and never saw that one. And then he goes into the awning area, and maybe right after he opens that first gate, maybe he opens the awning area, props open a door, then goes over and props the gate open, because from the inside he can probably just flip open a latch, open the gate, and then he props it, and then he goes into the house now. But he did everything really quietly as to, not wake her up. Then he goes into the house. Then he starts looking around with the little flashlight in his mouth with the backpack, and eventually makes it to her room and does whatever he does in there, don't know, and then eventually pulls out the gun, forces her to get out of her bed, and just walks her away out to the front door. Something happens maybe near the front door, and then she's taken out the front door and is dripping blood a little bit, maybe bent over, coughed, and is moved to the vehicle and driven away. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's like that, though,
There's so many, it's like, I know that we don't know everything that they know, but we know enough that we have lots of clues to work with, that, there's lots of theorizing that can happen from those clues.
Yeah.
And, I agree that since we don't know all the clues, that we're only left with pieces of the puzzle, and we can't see the whole thing, So some parts we have to assume certain things, and one of them happens to be like we're talking tonight, and that is assuming where this person came from to enter into the backyard. Almost have to make some assumptions because we don't know. I mean, I'm tending to believe the more and more I talk to you that camera facing down the driveway wasn't working, and I mean, they could have authenticated that right away, that he did bring her in there if that camera was working, because the notification would have been on the phone, right?
Yeah, it just seems like, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just an older camera that wasn't connected to the damn thing, and it was there, just wasn't used. I'm trying to look for that. I'm trying to see if I can find. I remember that specific footage. It was the one that showed the driveway. Maybe I can just go back to about that date. What were those like on? Clear back on. If I go to Nancy Guthrie, go back to right around the beginning. Let's see. See if there's some video just sitting in here. Yeah, go ahead.
And just for example, if they did, while you're looking, just for example, if they did prior recons and they came up that driveway and they noticed that the camera was there but it was dead, that it didn't activate, no light came on or anything, then that would surely be a sign to them that, okay, this is a weakness in the security, and we know that we could, haul the flower pot right over here next to the gate, hop up on the edge of the flower pot, and hop right over the gate, the rear gate, Yeah. I've seen a lot of those gates before up in the area where I live, and those gates, they're usually 4 feet high, and believe it or not, usually they're just latched on the inside, and you literally can reach right over the top of the gate and undo the latch from over the top of the gate and open the gate from the outside. I mean, I've seen that so many times that's how those gates are set up like that. Usually there's a little place for a lock that you can go through on the latch on the inside, so that if you're leaving your property for any time and you want to make sure that latch is locked, that you can slip a padlock through it, and now it can't be flipped open so that somebody can walk through your gate.
Oh, it looks... hold on. I didn't get your email. Oh, right, there it is. Hold on. I'm just trying to open this up. I think I have the footage, because I'm already halfway into the... Yeah, so I've already seen this. Yeah, see, look at that right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely a camera. Let me take this footage and download it. Hold on. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you, Shelky.
Good job, freaks.
That's right. All right, let's see. I'm just going to put it out there on the main. Come on.
And I don't know why I've been so hung up on this, but ever since I watched your video, Gray, it's just been turning over in my mind, and I kept saying, like, well, which camera was it? And then I was thinking, like, well, why? You would have triggered both of them, because you can't, if you go in from that point that we're looking at right now on the screen, you're going to trigger both cameras. You can't get away from it.
Yeah, going over that thing. I mean, I thought of that, but then I just went, well, maybe that one isn't working, or they're just, they're not working the way they're supposed to because of the not paying the bills, and, I don't know. It seems like they'd still work and detect something even if you weren't paying your bill. Let's see.
You can see that one flower pot right there in the corner. It looks like another one.
You must be way behind over there, because I haven't had anything on the screen for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to refresh on my end then.
Let's see. It's still this thing's still downloading. It's got 4% more to go. Thanks, Wild Bill Wassman and Tracy Von Brott. And yes, you guys, if you're out there, if you could help support the channel, that would be great. Thank you.
So the one thing that I'm just going over is I keep thinking to myself that if he had to circle around the back, he's got this bulky backpack on. He's got this gun that's hanging, in the front of his...
Yeah, but like I was telling you before, if you walk right next to the fence, there's a clear place. Those little bushes and cactus are away from the house, the walls a little bit. All right. I know you always want to. That's what it looked like to me when I watched that.
I can't debate you on it because I don't have the footage to actually say, like, okay, So
yeah, well, look at this right here.
I'm stymied by that. Go ahead.
See, I think that's a camera, right? And look, it is. It is. It has the same solar panel.
Oh, that's a great photo there.
So there you go. Boom, everybody. It has the same solar panel as the other camera, and it's the same type of camera. So there is a camera right there. And here's the gate, right? That's what it really looks like. And here's the floodlight. So there is a camera. It has the same exact solar panel. And let's see if this goes around a little bit more. Looks like they're just kind of... Man, hold on. There
I have another question about that camera as well. Go ahead.
Right there is a solar panel. It's just rotated, I believe. I mean, you can actually see it on Google Earth. Watch. So if you zoom in on Google Earth right here, believe it or not, that little black thing there is the solar panel, and that little part that sticks out is the camera. And then it looks like this one doesn't quite, you don't see it the same. But that is what this is, 100%. I've looked at it. When they were up there working on the roof, that little black thing is exactly where the solar panel was. So
So I don't know, number one, we don't know for sure if it was working or not. But the other thing, too, that we don't know, and I mean, you would think that they would set this camera up there to where the angles that it pans at covers certain areas that they think, that it needs to see. And it's probably going to pan across that whole driveway, shooting almost like, I wonder how far back it would shoot.
So this is the video that I was looking at originally, that I could tell that there was a camera there. And there, I think there's even some photographs that are way clear. But look at this right here. Watch. So this is a camera, and that's the solar power for the camera. That way you don't ever have to charge it or do anything, especially in Arizona. And then right here is another solar panel, and that little thing that's sticking out right there is the other camera. So you can see both of them, one there and one there. So, one of those two picked that up, or both working, we don't know.
So would it be possible, and I'm just saying that if that angle wasn't just right, that you could slip around from behind that guest house, creep around the edge of that flower pot, and slide by the edge of that door underneath that camera, and
yeah, I mean, it's sort of interesting. The angle seems like it's like out here. So maybe you could go right underneath this slider and not be picked up. I don't know. I mean, usually these things are really wide angles, so I would imagine that they'd want to pick somebody up if they're going through the slider. I mean, right, you would think that, right? But anyways, you're looking at, that's not as clear as that original shot, which is like over here. Look at that one's way better.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, thanks for finding that one again. You could see I already was halfway into the video when I opened it up, because I'd been there. Just sometimes it's hard to find those things.
Does the gate look about 4 feet tall?
I don't know. Might be a little taller than that. Usually those things are, I bet that's like 5 feet, maybe. 4.5,
I was
5.
comparing it to the door, to the slider opening.
Yeah, well, maybe if that was like 70, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it could be, it could be something shorter, I guess. Like maybe 45, 46 inches or so. It's hard to really say. I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, anybody that's in any shape at all could just jump over that.
Right. And so it looks like a very easy entry point. If you want to get in there and you want to be silent, and you could even pull that flower pot. Even if you're coming from the outside, you could roll that flower pot very quietly right over there. But my question is so.
Oh, there we go. This has both of them. So those are the same exact brand and everything.
That's great.
Yeah, so here's the one inside the yard. This is one I was looking at a long time ago that showed them on the roof walking around.
That one has to be working for them to go up there and get it. It's got to be working.
Yeah, now look over here. See, this is where the door is, right underneath here is where that door is. There's a door right there that goes in. Now look at all these flower pots under there. There's a ton of them. And they've actually moved these. They were lined up out there.
Yeah. So do you think that camera would pick up something underneath that awning?
Well, I mean, you to get to the awning, it seemed like you'd be picked up. But I think once you're underneath there, no.
Yeah.
So it could be like as he was approaching there. That's what I was saying. At 2:12, he's picked up that he's. But it almost feels like one of them's broken, right? Because if he jumped over the other fence, he likely would have been picked up by the gate. Right, but if he jumped over the back one, then that one makes the most sense here. But even if let's say the one he jumps over the fence in the back, and then he walks over there. Now it's not going to be, you can't see him anymore because he's so far around. But then you have to say, well, then at what point did he put the propping? That he propped open the gate. It's interesting. Right. Look at that right there. There's a little pot And I wonder if they just sort of moved it to there. That doesn't even make any sense to have a pot there. Isn't that weird?
There is a little pot.
Ah, that's crazy. So that pot right there might be the one that they took from somewhere and just put there, and they just slid it over there to shut the gate as law enforcement arrived. You know?
So does the gate swing inward into the backyard?
Well, it kind of looks like that.
It sure does.
And that's a perfect place where you would have that. You would open it up. I don't know which way it swings. Is it open, you know, the top's over here that swings towards us, or is it over here connected to the garage that swings this way, and then the door would be like the gate would be right there, and then you just kind of slide the pot over. Yeah.
That would make sense why you would have that pot right there, because as it swung open, then you could just slide the pot in to keep it open.
Yeah, I guess we've seen other shots. Maybe we can catch somebody walking through that gate or something. Let's see. There you go. There it is. We just got it. We just got it. That is. We got it. That's it. Boom. Watch this. I just saw it. The gate's open right now. Look at that. Boom.
Yeah.
So it swings just like that. Just like we were just thinking, right? So the pot, it goes right there. Can I get a boom? That was pretty good.
Boom!
That was pretty good. That's pretty good. That pot right there is probably the one, because that's totally out of place right there. It doesn't appear to mean anything.
And it tells us roughly how tall the gate is by how tall the guy is next to it. Roughly, right?
Yeah, or it looks like a lady. She got hair coming down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But, maybe it's maybe it could be like 5 feet, 4 feet, over 4 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
sweet.
it swings inward.
Yeah, so it swings. It's connected. The hinge is connected to the garage part, and then it shut. Not the garage. There's like a little. If you go on Google Earth here, there's this little energy. I think like the air conditioning unit or something. See that?
Right behind that.
Right.
Yep.
So it's just kind of connected to that wall right there on that one.
I did think that would be a place for a person to hide as well if they wanted to, because who's going to look behind that wall? You know?
Yeah.
Not that you would need to be hiding there beforehand, but you certainly could be.
Hey, by the way, you can expect to see this stuff on another YouTube channel tomorrow. They go, "Look what I found, everybody." That's just how they do it. You know?
Well, but we know where it came from, right?
Right. Doesn't help me at all, though. But that's
No. Yeah. I think your point earlier about the algo is precisely right. It is the algo. It has nothing to do with the quality of the content. It's your algo. It's your algo.
Yeah, the algorithm. I kept working with YouTube with it, and they were just like, "Yeah, you got to do this," and it's like, I do those things. It just is what it is.
But now that we know that the gate swings inward toward the backyard, then that means that if that person propped it open, that they would not necessarily trigger the camera in the driveway because it doesn't swing in that direction.
Yeah, like inward. If they hopped over the back fence.
Right. Yep.
Right. And then they would have to go through there. So let's just say for the hell of it, they climbed over this fence, landed here. Then perhaps they go over here and from the inside open the gate. But I think they went over. Well, see, the problem is you need it to be first over here, then the last place is here, and then you never go outside again. So it has to be, you go to this gate first. So what did you do? Grab a pot, run over there, prop that one open. Then he goes over here, and now he's out of range of the camera, and then he goes inside because he was already picked up once. So let's say he got picked up at 212 by this camera, which I really think that's exactly what it is. He jumps over the fence, and then he's picked up. Then he goes over here, or let's say he goes over here and grabs a pot from underneath the awning, and then he moves it over here to prop that door open. It feels like he would have been picked up again, given the amount of time it's taking. I guess he could have ran or something. But, a lot of times these things film for 30... It depends on how long you have it filming for. So if it filmed for like 2 minutes, then he definitely would have time to just do it. And then before it started a new capture, you know what I mean?
And how that camera worked exactly would be fascinating, because my understanding is that you can program those, for example, like let's say that, because I've heard that someone said that she had it set for wildlife because she liked to watch wildlife. I don't know that that's true at all, but, or that it can be set to where it recognizes a human figure by the height. I don't know.
Well,
if
that's what he said.
True, but
he said, the sheriff said it detected a human. Although it could have been an animal, I guess. So I don't know. That's what that's how he said it.
That was the other thing too, is I understand, when you look at that stone wall, and you probably could zero in on that stone wall, even that the way that it's built, it has squares in between spaces. And so a cat, it looks like, could go right through that stone wall, or even a raccoon, and get in the backyard and trigger it, But I think the point that you made earlier still rings the most true, and that is that if they're up there taking the camera off the roof, there he is doing that, then we know that had relevance to the case.
Yes. And look at they're all underneath. They're kind of slowly looking around at stuff. So they know that he was underneath there, for sure.
But if he came in and he hopped over the back, that must have been, it strikes me that if you're coming through the back, you're hopping over the back fence, that you've already been back there before. You wouldn't go back there, without knowing what you were going to get into, because what if there were obstacles that you didn't count on?
Well, you could have just looked at it over the back wall there. You can see the whole yard really clearly, all around. You saw when Entin was out there, it's like you could see everything. It'd be weird. I mean, it's true, though. Remember how they have people looking for, I think it's the 11th and 24th? One of my theories is that they have, how they captured at 2:12 in the morning?
Yep.
I think that there's other nights, those on the 11th and 24th, that camera picked up motions at an equally late time, like 1:45 in the morning, there was motion there.
Right.
And so both of those days they want to see if there's other camera footage out there that show something on those dates too. Something like that.
Right. And I just, as much as this has went this long and no one has been caught, and the more that we learn, the more it points to very well planned job, that it just suggests that there were prior recons, I could even see that if there was a getaway driver that pulled up, that an ideal way to do that would be to not even maybe necessarily park the vehicle in any particular place, but to, just bring up the road, drop them off, and then, just be in range of the walkie-talkie wherever you are, if you're roaming or whatever, and as soon as it's ready, come and get him without ever parking once, just quickly drop them off, and then only go in there long enough to get her and get out of Dodge,
Yeah. Well, hey, I gotta go spend 3 hours and something. I gotta go cover something real quick for a second, but it's all. We always get into a kind of cool discussion where we figure out, like, that was kind of a neat one, and thanks to, how do you say that name again up there? Shelky, who sent the video. I'd seen. I think I might have the video somewhere, but I just couldn't find it. So she found it, and then that sort of really shows exactly what we were talking about, and sort of confirmed different things.
Yeah, and to close it out, I got to say that horse teeth, cow teeth beats Jason Bourne all day long.
That is a good name.
Well, have a good night, Gray, and just want to say the freaks rock in the house.
All right. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yep. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye. Jason Bourne, everybody. Jason Bourne. How's the audio on that one? Pretty good? All right. Let's take a look at this one really quick. Whatever the hell this thing is here. So her name is Christina Maria Plante. Let's see if it even... Didn't you guys find that pretty interesting right there? Not a lot of you said boom, but for the ones that were actually paying attention, it was pretty good. And where was she missing from? I just want to see if she ever showed up in here. Incredibly new. Okay, it was Arizona. Hold on. No, that can't be it. What year? No, last seen May 1994. Yeah, that's not, never made it in the papers. So anyways, incredible news out of Arizona. 13-year-old girl who mysteriously vanished without a trace 32 years ago while walking to a nearby horse stable has been found alive, according to the Gila Sheriff's Office. Christina Maria Plante, now 44, was last seen on May 15, 1994, when she left her home in Payson, Arizona, a small community northeast of Phoenix. Here, maybe we can read that. There. Sheriff J. Adam Shepard would like to release the following information on cold case missing person from Star Valley, Arizona, 1994. The Gila County Sheriff's Office is announcing the successful resolution of a decades-old missing person case that began in May 1994 when 13-year-old Christina Maria Plante disappeared from Star Valley, Arizona. Christina was reported missing after she vanished without a trace from her community. At the time of her disappearance, extensive search efforts were conducted involving local law enforcement, volunteers, and regional resources. Despite exhaustive ground searches, interviews, and investigative follow-up, no viable leads were developed. Christina was entered into the National Missing Children Database. That's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And missing person flyers were distributed locally, statewide, and in other parts of the country. Over the years, the case remained open and active, with investigators periodically re-examining evidence and pursuing new information as it became available. The formation of the Gila County Sheriff's Office Cold Case Unit marked a renewed commitment to unresolved investigations, utilizing advances in technology, modern investigative techniques, and detailed case review. Detectives developed new leads and ultimately led to a breakthrough. After 32 years, Christina Marie Plante has been located alive. Investigators have confirmed her identity, and her status as a missing person has been officially resolved. The case underscores the importance of cold case review. And well, what's the deal behind it, though? I mean, what did she run away? And yeah, jeez. If anybody gets an answer of what the hell happened there, let me know. But it's just stupid. They don't give you that. All right, you guys. I think that's going to do it for me. Thank you for being here. Let's see. We've got the... thank you to Lisa, 37 months there, of absolute hell, I'm sure. And then Cheryl Bullock, then Allie Cake, Justin Sally, Jessica Schubach, Alex, Wild Bill Wassman, Jim Lawn, Stinger, and we had Allie Cake, Jessica Schubach, Wild Bill Wassman, Karen W., Wild Bill Wassman, Allie Cake, gifted one, Paul Marino. Then we had Jareth King gifted one, Tamsters gifted one, Laura A gifted one, Karen W gifted one, Wild Bill Wassman. That was his challenge. He gifted 5, and there was 5 before that. And Wild Bill Wassman, after a little bit, gifted another one. or that might have been because Lisa Belson jumped in and did a 5 for 5er. That's right. Then Tamsters gifted 5, which Wild Bill and hers just immediately reached that one. Or I think that's how it worked. And then Richard Watts, and then Wild Bill Wassman gifted one again, and Jim Lawn, Saint Jop, Wild Bill Wassman. See, Wild Bill Wassman, he keeps the flow of water on. Then Lisa Valenzuela, Allie Cake, Jim Lawn, Michelle, Lee Hilliard, 4 months. Thank you for that. Tamsters. Then Lee Hilliard gifted a membership. Then Wild Bill Wassman, Allie Cake, Tamsters, Whiskey Boots, Stinger, Tracy Von Brott. This is the 10 for 10, I think. John Miranda. John Miranda. He became a new member, then he gifted one. Then we had Horse Teeth, Cow Teeth. Then we had Lisa Belson with the 10. Then I put 5 in there. And then Tracy Von Brott. And Wild Bill Wassman. Anyways, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Didn't you guys think that was pretty cool? How that sort of developed right there on the show? I think that sort of nailed some stuff. I think that's absolutely the pot, or whatever that is, that held that gate open. And then one of these other ones in here is what held open that door. Makes sense. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. We didn't get to, but maybe tomorrow I'll do, I don't know, maybe in the afternoon or something, do the Tyler Robinson. I got to go back over it just to know what I'm doing. I mean, I kind of remember most of it just in my head, but anyways, thank you all so much. Special thanks to Lisa Belson out there, and obviously Wild Bill Wassman, who's always supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And everybody else who helped out, thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow. And who knows what the hell tomorrow will bring. Thanks for being here, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Maybe I'll do the intro and play that at the end. And then the rap. I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, like rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you on a stretcher, even try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Full reflector, interceptor, and I'm human inspector with a vector on his specter. With all respect, y'all,
Just remember I'm the type of fucking checker. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for watching Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube, where we cover true crime using logic, reason, and common sense. 3 things that aren't very common anymore in the true crime community. Thank you very much for watching. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.